I don't know.
Fool, I have arrived.
Dang it.
Mwahaha.
I have to send that. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is awkward. All right.
Sorry, it's just not my favorite Disney movie. I really prefer a lot of the stuff from the Renaissance era. So
See, and that's fair, but you said I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
And that made me feel personally attacked.
So when the pandemic hit, we actually rewatched like every Disney movie in order to kind of like see them chronologically, which was really fun. And then this was the second time I saw Lilo and Stitch, and I don't know, it just didn't really connect with it.
It connected with you.
Did it? Oh, well, I was aware of
because
that.
it's now associated. No, last week he was like, Ohana, like he was talking about what team he wanted to win, and he said, Ohana, I don't like Lilo and Stitch. I was like, oh, shots fired. We're not even. Ohana means I'm not watching that movie again. All right. This is my. Hello. Welcome. We're here. It's Wednesday. That means it can be one and only thing. Someone's speaking. Luke, are you here secretly? Oh, okay. Are we going to get a sixth person? Okay. All right. So we are here, and you might say, who's we? Well, you know me probably. If you don't, my name's Katie, and we're kicking things off. And with me, we have a stunning lineup of pre-show people. We have the one and only Lycos of the Sunflower Illumineers, who are kind of scaring people. I'm in Colorado, and like everywhere, whispers are going around, going, Sunflower Illumineers, you hear? But welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, just representing the Sunflower Lumineers, and we did great this weekend. So happy to be here on this Wednesday.
Yeah. So we also have with us Sasuke. Sasuke, not like the evil one, somebody who likes dipping sauces. I assume it's related to this Sasuke of surreptitious means. But welcome, Sasuke. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was. To make a long story short, it's just basically one of my friends was a big Naruto fan. We were helping him come up with gamer tags. I wrote Sasuke. He hated it, so I kept it.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Sometimes the hate is all you need for something to be an indelible meme. Now, we also have with us the wickedly talented Red Rose. How are you doing, Red Rose?
I thought you were going to call me Adele Dazeem.
I was going to. That's what I'm referencing.
Yeah, very good reference.
They don't know Adele Dazeem. It's honestly embarrassing.
That's true. No, I'm doing quite well. The cold has never bothered me anyway. Just out of curiosity, tech note, should I have been able to hear the others? Because I was not able to hear them when they were speaking.
That's a problem. Yeah, you should be able to hear us.
I can hear you, but I couldn't hear when anyone else was talking.
That's a problem. So hopefully our producer can solve that, or whatever problem's going on in your life. You might have to leave and come back. That is something that has worked for me in the past.
Oh, is it? Okay.
When in doubt, just restart. Have you ever been able to hear any of us?
Well, yeah, you I can hear perfectly fine, just not the others talking.
Well,
you want to hear select.
Yeah, let me reload then. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, and it is possible.
Maybe a selective hearing.
You could just have a psychic link with me.
That's true too.
Well, wait, Rose. Well, also we have to ask: is it Red Rose or Rude Rose? I've asked 10 times, but I always forget to check back with the answer.
Technically, it's Rudros, but it's a made-up word, so I'm not gonna sweat it if people say it incorrectly. Yeah.
Perfect. And last but not least, you know him. He's a comeback kid. You were on our show, and now you're back again. We have Rascal Adams. I can't say it any other way.
That's fine. As long as it's not Rascal Flats. I've heard that joke way too many times. And it's like, do I need to change my name? Like, come on. Life's a highway and all, but.
Yeah, life is just wait till Cars comes out on Lorcana and you're cooked as a kid.
I'll be a Mater main the whole time.
Mater main. Absolutely. So I think this is our whole lineup. I saw there might be Angry Bosun. Is Angry Bosun coming? Who knows? I don't think so, because they aren't here unless one of you are secretly that person. But either way, this should be the lineup. So welcome everyone. And we have quite the show tonight. It's our second game of round 3. So we have 4 rounds total. So things are kind of there's a plot. We got enemies. We got all sorts of things going on. And so tonight we have Maelstrom versus Select Few. So we can talk about who's on the team. But just right off the bat, are you guys excited or nervous? I know that there's some celebrity players on both these teams.
I think this is going to be a really hype matchup. Honestly, I think both of these teams are really, really talented, and I think we're just kind of in for a bit of a treat, really.
I agree. I think that Maelstrom is the team. I think they're kind of like the Lorcana community sweethearts. They're like, look at those Maelstrom boys. They're always just when I imagine they're at team events, I think they have bunk beds and they're all like, oh, who's gonna get top bunk? I want middle. And it's just like there's three, of course, because they're not two bunk beds, they're like three, and so one person's middle, and they're all like hee hee hee, and like, and then Sarah comes in and goes, lights out, you guys. We got a big day tomorrow. That's what I imagine when I think of Maelstrom. I did get confirmation.
The book, right? Because she's a
Yeah, she reads them a book, obviously. Settle down, children, and then they all go to bed whispering about. Do you remember Bucky? Yeah, I do. It's really sweet.
Who's gonna get the Mickey? I'm gonna get the Mickey.
Yeah, and they're like, I'll let you hold your Mickey. I think you deserved it, man. And we got some raiders here. So we got JDZ Quest has sent his raiders upon us, which is very exciting, but also kind of scary because I made a lot of jokes last time they raided about banning Shield of Virtue, and they did not think I was joking. And I had to be like, public apology. I do not mean that. So there's that. Now, Select Few is another team that they got some heavy hitters on there, people that you're going to recognize from the internet. So we'll go ahead and introduce the players and we can talk about them a bit. But we're going to start with somebody who I feel bad. I feel like we're shaming them. Yeah, here's the thing, though. He could have messaged it many hours ago. That's all right. So I'll read his information. But I'll read what I wrote first. Humble did not submit his photo by the cutoff time. He also did not submit his info. This makes Katie sad. So that is unfortunately what it was. But apparently his teammates vouching for him to read the information, which I did see. So Humble's information is top 64, DLC Chicago, godfather of Mufasa, and professional silly goose. And I'll put in there a little wary of deadlines. So you guys, Humble, are any of you Mufasa loyalists? That's like a subculture in Lorcana.
I mean, I've always been a big fan of the blue Mufasa. The yellow one has betrayed me way too many times. Like, I'm always like, 4 to 8 actions wouldn't hurt in this deck, and then he flips them every single time, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't for me.
The one time I played Mufasa without any actions, I had 3 games on it. First time, I only had Mufasa on board. I flipped over a snake. The second time, I played Mufasa after a Be Prepared. Same thing happened. And then the third time, I forget what it was, but it was also another snake. And after the third time in a row, I was like, you know what? Mufasa's not my friend.
I think we've all been hurt by Mufasa, personally.
That's why you got to play Ruby with him.
Yeah, it takes a special person to play no actions, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think truly you want, when your opponent has Mufasa, there is always a Maleficent Dragon underneath it or a Maui. But for some reason, when you have it, it is a 1-drop character that sits there and makes a farting sound like a whoopee cushion. And you're like, oh. So.
Wow.
But shout out to him. I am riffing here, and I didn't say anything negative. I just put that. It made me sad. So nothing negative about him. He's a wonderful person. But this is the first time we've had to do that. So I think that's a record. Anyway, we're on to Bannable. So we're going to do popcorn style. Sasuke, would you like to share with the class a little bit about Bannable?
Yeah, sure. So, I played against a number of times. Very talented player. Really one of those players that just kind of like waits for you to make the mistake. Just is one of those players that really it just doesn't matter how many hours he's been going on. He just doesn't make mistakes. So he's really good at preying on those players that just like one minor misstep and then he just takes it and snowballs it from there. So I just think when you're playing against Bannable, you have to be incredibly careful. And I'll be excited to see what deck he's piloting today.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. You can. I feel like bad being like, all right, now read what's on the screen, but I do have to make you do that. That's my job. Is I have to force you. Are you able to see the card? If not,
it's cut off by the bottom section, but I can see 2 out of the 3.
I got it. He's got top 8 at both world-class card 5Ks. That was a pretty stunning time, but this was pre-Hiram ban, so we'll see what song he's singing now. He won 3 Enchanted Let It Go promos at the DLC season last year, and Top 64 and DLC Las Vegas. So impressive stuff. So that's bannable. So does anyone else have any? I feel like now it's like a eulogy. Does anyone have any memories they'd like to share?
I was actually at that World Class 5K, and I had the misfortune of running into green players the whole day. Like my first 3 rounds were all green steel players who hit the nuts, and I happened to run into Bannable the whole time, like throughout the day. And he was able to, like, he's a real good guy. He was able to talk me down because I was mega tilted about the whole experience, just like turn 4 not having a hand, and he brought me back. So I really like Bannable, and I hope to see him do well today.
Yeah, no, he's very nice. He's named Bannable, but isn't that Bannable like a guy that like invaded Italy possibly? Who knows? Either way, great guy. And now we're on to our third and final Maelstrom member for tonight. There was lots of them. They're all over the place, but this is our third for tonight. Lycos, would you like to share with the class a little bit about Zenulus?
Yeah, so Zenulus, he's a Maelstrom player. He topped 8 CCS 8K, top 10 CCS 13K, and tragically hurt by Sapphire. I feel like Zenulus has been hurt by a mini an ink color, and I hope he finds the color to support him in the future.
He's supported by some color, but I will say that this was written before Hiram was banned. So like that's kind of shocking that like this is even before he was like really hurt by Sapphire. But someone did write it. He's Lorcana sweetheart, and he's a nice guy. He's got a good attitude. You can't not like him. Who here doesn't like Zenulus? Let's start there. Who wants someone? We're all going to say something negative to kind of turn the tone here. I'm just kidding. He is really great. I did go ahead and get him a button at Disneyland because his birthday was that week. And I went to a lady who worked in a shop who's probably like 70 years old. And she said, "What's the young man's name?" And I said, "Zenulus." And she went, "What?" And I went, "Okay, I already have it on my phone." And she's like, "What is a Zenulus?" And I said, "I don't know." That was it. I just didn't know. And she just sadly wrote Zenulus. So that's Zenulus, and we'll see what he brings today. We know that he was cooking pretty hot with Ruby Sapphire, but we'll see if he stays the course on this.
Yes, best of luck to him.
Absolutely. So now it's a select view. Now this is a picture that JDZ went, "Oh yeah," like JDZ's not here, so I have to speak for him because JDZ really, this isn't about the players. It's about the fashion. It's about the passion. It's about the pose. So Justice was a big deal for JDZ. So we'll go ahead. We'll have Red Rose. What's going on here? What's going on with Justice, Lorcana Justice?
Justice, yeah. I feel like I gotta say it in the Batman voice.
Exactly.
He's here for justice, Lorcana Justice. All right. So Justice is part of Team Select View. His player lore at Euros, he was an LCQ pod winner, which is something you have to do just kind of on the spot the next day. So that's a pretty big accomplishment right there. He made top 8 at the Axion Set 7 Sunday event, as well as a 6-time set champion, which is something certainly not everyone could say as well. And of course, he is looking mighty fashionable in a wonderful Lorcana coat that even has the 2 of my favorite colors, ruby and amethyst, there on the sleeves. I think I can see emerald as well, but yeah, I think he's going to be bringing a lot of justice to tonight's rounds.
Justice. Yeah, I mean, it is fun to say once you start.
You think he's gonna lay down the hammer?
He better. I mean, if your name is Justice, you have to deliver justice. Because if you don't, then people will call you like, I don't know, probably something mean. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Justice bringing up the first player here, and we're popcorning. It's Rascal. It's your turn. I'm sorry, I did a southern accent again. I promise that my.
It's all good. So we got Adrian, better known as Create, a DLC NALCQ winner. He got 2nd place at the 1K in Austin, Texas, and 17th at the Pac 5K. Notorious Blue Steel player. I've seen him and R&B going back and forth at it all the time in the 20 Lore Pro Discord, just constantly innovating, constantly trying to prove whose ideas are better, and great player. Excited to see what he's bringing to the table today. Probably Sapphire Steel again, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a fun thing is that sometimes people do bring some kind of funky things to the ICO because they're like, I don't want you to know what I'm doing. But now,
Oh,
do you know is Rip Lungs and Create the same person? Am I
Yeah,
transposing?
they are. Yes.
Okay, because everybody has enter my rant where I'm like everybody's got 40 names, but that is quite exciting. So I'm excited to see him play today and show up. I think this is his first. Well, he didn't play last time, but maybe he played round one and I missed it. But either way, I had create his player card, which means he hasn't played since that last time happened.
I brought it up in the last time I was casting how much I enjoy playing Sapphire Steel songs. I don't know if it's ever going to be particularly competitive, but Create was in there when I was testing it on stream one day in my Discord server for my team. And he was like, oh, geez, and then immediately left as soon as he realized what I was up to.
That's what you want to see. You want someone to see what you're doing and then just be like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I think that's really the dream.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have another person on the screen right now who made JDZ go, whoa. So yeah, that we got the muscles here, and that's because of his lore gains. So I think it's my turn. Alvin is lore gain, so he's known about keeping up the game, but also keeping up the pump and mental health. So he does it all. He's like the most well-rounded player there could be. He famously went to Australia with no cards and crowdsourced a deck. So he is a legend in the community. DLC Seattle top 16. Mufasa fan. He's not the godfather of Mufasa, just a fan. And I think that's nice to temper it. And he's a YouTuber, so check him out. And he's got a nice hat. Mickey Mouse. Can't say no to that.
I don't think he wanted to go to Australia without his cards, but
that wasn't the plan.
I do like how you spun that.
It does make it sound. He's like, I have an idea. YouTube video.
Lorcana community, come to me.
I mean, it is kind of fun though, because I mean, how fun is it to start an international day of travel or an international arrival with stress? I think it's probably a great way to do it.
Nothing like vacation, than more stress.
No pain, no gain, right? He's Lord Gain.
Yeah, normally when you forget something, it's like my toothbrush. But in this case, he forgot 60 separate cards that must be collected from bespoke locations. So not too bad. And then our final one here, we'll go ahead. Sasuke, who do we got? You can't see it. It's not there yet. Was that it? Did we do it?
I think
I believe so.
Sasuke, who would you like to be on the team? Okay. So yeah,
Hannibal, Humble.
Yeah, Hannibal, Humble, Logan. Not Logan.
Zenulus.
Zenulus. Sorry, Logan's his government name. Zenulus.
Yeah, and then Lorgains, Create, and
so we're gonna go ahead and do some chit chat. We're gonna see. How's everyone doing? We're first gonna talk about. Who's gonna win here because we like to make our panelists guess who's going to win based on truly nothing other than vibes so that later you can go, yeah, I was right, even though you had no reason other than just your heart. Although Red Rose would say that he knew he's actually a pro. So we'll start with Red Rose because I want him. He was the winner last time on who's going to win.
That's
so
true.
Who do you think is going to take down this competition?
See if I can go 2-0 this week. So using the same metrics as last time, which is essentially based on nothing, as much as I like the term select few and I like the symbol of the two shooting stars kind of going in opposite directions, Maelstrom is also a word that not only have I always enjoyed, is the name of a song I wrote many, many years ago. So I have to go with the personal connection. It worked last time. I'm trying it again. I'm going for Maelstrom, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, do you hear that? That's the storm coming.
Exactly.
And if we run out of time, because we're going to go around to all of you, but I will reenact the entire ride Maelstrom from Epcot. So let's hope that we don't get to that. So, feel free to take as much time as you need. Like us, who are you thinking is going to take home this win?
So I think both of these teams are incredibly gifted and talented. So it actually is very difficult. But I think Select Few is going to come in here with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and kind of knock it out of the park. I think that, like I said,
yeah, you actually can't say anything negative about Maelstrom.
I think all the players are fantastic, but I'm going to root for the underdog this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, in this league, there really isn't any true underdogs. It's really any given Sunday. But I agree, Maelstrom, they got the people. People have put in their own icon in the chat. Is there a select few icon? Yes, there is. Okay. So everybody, come on, select few. There should be a select several of you supporting right now. JDZ is he's really a well, I guess actually he's part of Team Maelstrom, so never mind. I guess he can be proud of them. All right. So Rascal Adams, Mr. Rascal, who do you think is going to take this?
So if we're doing this off of a vibes-based metric, I think the intimidation factor of just simply not putting in any information whatsoever so your opponents can't know your next move. Like Humble's gonna carry round one, and then we're just gonna ride the Maelstrom all the way through. End up taking that dub home 3-0.
That is honestly such a good point that like it wasn't because he didn't want to. It wasn't because he forgot. It wasn't anything other than the fact that he's like, how chill would that be if my person, they're like, who am I facing? And they don't know because this is a hand game. Like you don't get to see what they're looking like.
Right.
So the whole time they're just like, oh God, who is this?
You're not even going to see a body. You're just going to see the cards like float
Yeah.
into place on the screen and flip themselves over on the mat.
Honestly, remarkable strategy. We've never seen it in the ICL before, and we're going to see if that pays off here. Somebody, an Illuminati member said, that's pretty Illuminati coded. So we might have to check and be like, hey, are you still
Almost like the Zelda with the hands. I don't know if you guys ever played the N64 game.
Yeah. Spooky hands, floating embodied hands.
Yeah.
So lastly, well, I guess I'm last, but Sasuke, who you got your money on here? We all bet $30. Sorry, disclosing for federal
Oh,
purposes.
geez. $30. If I'm putting I don't know. Honestly, I feel like this matchup is going to be a bit of a toss-up. I think a lot of these players are both incredibly talented, and I'll just say select few since everyone else said Maelstrom, simply because everyone else said Maelstrom. No reason.
Didn't one other person say? Yeah, we had a rebel.
All right. We'll make it 50-50. Either way, now it's going to be up to you, Katie. You have to decide who's going to win it.
So the thing is the Maelstrom boys, I know, are hungry. They are very competitive, and I wouldn't want to bet against them because they want to be known as like scary, like a tornado. I don't know what kind of a Maelstrom. Is a Maelstrom a type of storm? Or is a Maelstrom just a generic term for a strong storm? Tough to say. So I would say that Maelstrom has the edge, but I do think they're going to have to fight for it. So I do think it's going to be 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because I think select few, they're not amateurs, but they don't have the pure rage. If you guys can see the chat, the pure rage of a shaking R&B head. But so we do have 3 minutes. So we're going to start with Maelstrom. So you get in a boat, and it's a pirate it's a Viking boat. And you're going to kind of go through some things. There's an oil rig. Anyway, we won't do that.
By the way, the exact definition is a powerful whirlpool in the sea or river.
So it's a whirlpool. It's not even a storm. It's just like a
kind of like the Bermuda Triangle, right?
I was going to say a sucky ocean, but I'm not going to call you guys a sucky ocean. You're not a sucky ocean. Maelstrom is no longer with us. The ride in Epcot has been replaced with Frozen Ever After, and it's fine. That's my take on that. It's fine. Has anyone ever cried on a theme park ride? Go. I'll start with you. Sasuke, have you ever cried on a theme park ride?
That's what I look forward to when I go on theme park rides.
Mm-hmm. I cried a little bit at the Beauty and the Beast ride in Japan. I don't cry. I can't do it. I'm highly medicated, so not happening. But on the Beauty and the Beast ride, it was really pretty, and I teared up a little bit. I turned around, and a Japanese person was crying too, and we connected. We said, we're not daijoubu right now. So, Humble has been drugged by a dentist today? Colors Law, what do you know? Colors Law, what do you know?
Ooh, secrets out.
I think
All right.
a little bit in the chat, it said that he did go to the dentist and he's been a little bit out of it all day. That was
right.
R&B a few messages up.
You should have taken a picture with like the little like bib and like.
I think he's just being humble.
Yeah, he's just being humble. Yes, JDZ cried during Fantastic. If you don't cry when they go, oh, see what a little wishing can do? Like, who are you? Like, what happened? Don't worry. If you ask Luke, he'll go, see how snake-like I can be. It's great. It's great content. But we'll go ahead. I think the producer said we should have 7 minutes. So do we have time to say goodbye to everyone? New York booth man. Okay, so the man in the booth is eating. So that means we're going to go around. And so who's coming back? Who's casting tonight? Who's coming back? Is anyone not coming back?
I'm not coming back.
Okay, so we'll say goodbye for now. It's never so goodbye. It's see you real soon. So like us, where can people find, follow, hear about the times you've cried on Disney rides?
I've never cried on a Disney ride. I've also never been on a Disney ride. So
That makes it that does help. That makes it where it is harder.
yes, that does make it impossible for me to have happen that. But I'm on Discord for Lycos 14, but everywhere else, you really won't find me individually. But I am behind the scenes of all the teams stuff. So YouTube, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere the team's at, I am lurking there.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, Team Sunflowers, they're crushing. They are the ones to fear. It's not a maelstrom, they're a tornado. And that's actually very real and very scary. And anybody that grew up in the Midwest can't deal with it. I am still scared.
It's true.
Tornado drills. We'll talk about it next. But Rascal Adams, where can people find? Wait, were you the one that last time you're like, you can't find me anywhere, or we can find you, right?
Well, I mean, right now I don't have a great social media presence. I as well am usually in Discord. I spend a lot of time over in the Ink Thieves Discord. I spend a lot of time in the Maelstrom Discord. Just whenever I have time, I'll be hanging out, chatting about Lorcana, trying to play some cam games every once in a while. Yeah. I don't have any like big YouTube channel or anything just yet. Working
We'll
on
you. Don't worry.
Whoa, that sounded like a threat.
You. Yeah, you're like, I'm live streaming right now, and I'm like, how? And you look, and there's just a camera. I'm like, anyway, I won't do that.
True.
But we're happy to have you. And so thank you both. And we're going to go ahead and kick it to our next two hosts. We have two incredibly talented casters here. One is not leaving. They're just going to stay right here. So Red Rose is already here. That's the good news. But with him is the host with the most, the producer extraordinaire, and he's got a golden Mickey. He's really got it all. We have Luke, and we'll go ahead and kick it off to the first round. We're going to do it. Don't worry. I manifested it. I didn't speak with the producer, but everybody, don't worry.
Fine. I was still just having some fun doing stuff, but I guess we can just jump into the match and just play the game. We're good to go.
Excellent. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. You've been doing great, obviously.
Thank you. Good. I'm doing quite well. I've got a lot of more parodies and other things planned for the rest of Arcasia's Island, so I'm looking forward to getting those out.
Ooh, I'm also excited. I loved the song you had. Like,
thank you,
or so.
Dude. I'm so glad I got that out a week before the bans. I was like, oh man, if that had come out a week later, I would have just like totally ruined it.
Yeah. Oh, so it's a pretty good match here. I do believe someone sent you the lists. So
she did. Yes.
I mean, spoilers. You're gonna get to watch. So, I mean, I think everyone knows what Humble's on.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some sort of yellow lion. There's an amber lion in there somewhere. We can just all assume that. But Justice, what would you have guessed? I think you already know what he's on, but what would you guess
I do. If I were to guess, again, I don't know these players super duper well. I would assume something most people would consider super meta. So I would lean towards either green steel discard or maybe some variant of blue. Ruby Sapphire tends to be the more popular variant right now. I haven't seen a lot of people be brave enough to do the Sapphire Steel, but there is like what they call the Kiwi version, right? The very aggressive version. So that would be my guess without knowing ahead of time.
Yeah. Just be a little careful with your hand there. We can kind of see it. All right, perfect. No one told him Flaversham got banned. They just took it out of his deck, didn't let him know. So he's just like, oh, I'm still playing this, right? Like, and as we're gonna see here, like Pirate's Life in the Yard, we got a pop
into
on
popsicle.
Turn 1.
There you go.
I think this is something that Mufasa likes. I don't think their matchup before was too terribly bad. And starting off with a little bit of an aggressive card soldier. And you get to see the nice little Mattify Maelstrom mat that Humble got there recently.
Absolutely. Dude, Maleficent Dragon, like, guaranteed is my turn 1 ink every time I played Red-Blue, which is it always finds its way into your opening hand. It's like, well, at least I can ink it. At least it's not just stuck there for 8 turns.
Yeah, it does have some bonuses when that gets to happen that way. All right, you got a Visions from Justice. What are you trying to see here? Like, he's to know what Humble's on, right?
Yeah, and he's missed his quote-unquote ramp, as you usually like to ramp on 2, assuming he's running that. So in this case, what kind of blue-red you usually put out on turn 3? maybe just some form of card draw, like a popsicle, or maybe you still ramp anyway with a sail and it's just, one turn too late. Not too late, but later. Hey, there's the second Maleficent Dragon. As this card soldier is going to go to work, get us one single lore. And in case you weren't aware, that card soldier is a new card from this set. And if there is a damaged character in play, including your opponent, it becomes a 3/2, which is very nice.
Oh yeah, it is nice to get more 1-drops that seem to compete with other 1-drops.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't do it near enough.
I was a big fan of the Moana from last set too. That was naturally a 3/2, but the way Ruby Amethyst was built, there just wasn't really a way to get a captain on board to let her actually challenge. So she just kind of sat there as a body.
Yeah, I remember back in the day we had to play with 1/3s, right?
Right? Yeah, Olaf and Minnie Mouse as our third Maleficent Dragon. Well, that means there's going to be 3 less dragons for Mufasa to hit later, but we do hit our Gaston. Gaston, of course, can exert itself in order to make the next character you play 2 less.
He's so good. Gaston is just a nice burst of ramp in general. It's crazy how powerful that card can be.
Yeah. Justice would love to see a brawl here if he's running it, as it can clean up that Gaston pretty easily. I'm not sure if it is in his list. Some lists have cut brawls, and I can say from locals this week, I had to play against the Sapphire Steel. Luke, there was nothing I could brawl. There was no Flaversham anymore. Everything had 3 or 4 strength or higher. It's like, what is even the point of this card? There's nothing for me to hit with it.
Right? It's just why am I still playing this?
Yeah.
Why is this what everyone wants to do? No, please.
There's Grandma
But
Tala.
it's kind of a skill set there where you're I'm going to do everything I can to try to get my opponent to have to play the brawl, to slow them down on what they're doing. And it's kind of difficult to do, but if you can get them to use that brawl while still maintaining velocity, it's quite good for you.
I'm not quite sure what he played. Something for a full 4. He hasn't even used the
Rhea.
Gaston yet.
Oh, look at that. I didn't
Okay, it's the Raya. Okay.
I didn't even get to go over there to ask them to do it. The judge was on top of it. They're just we need to see that, please. Thank you very much.
So we can still use the Gaston reduction. I'm going to do a quick read of the Raya because I myself am not super familiar with that. So once during your turn, whenever a card's put into your inkwell, you may ready another chosen character of yours. They cannot quest for the rest of the turn.
I'm trying to find the controls for the thing I have on my screen to put the Raya up on the screen for us to use. But I cannot, for the love of my life, find this link that I saved.
Justice is probably feeling pretty good about the position he's in. Humble has only gotten to 3 lore so far, so he did miss his 2-turn drop, and the Gaston wasn't able to really do anything last turn either. This Raya can start putting on more lower pressure, but Justice is getting plenty of time to get to a ramp and a late game version of Ruby Sapphire that we all know is quite powerful. And Tala can freely trade with the card soldier here. It should not be powered up. There's nothing damaged on the board. There's Tala going to sing. She will sing. How far will she go? No one knows, according to the lyrics.
I do like the fact that Humble kind of had more ink there than Justice. Humble's ramping more. Not now necessarily, but I'm also I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to do too big of a thing. But I guess Gaston played Rhea, readied it.
Yeah.
He just played Rhea.
Well, no, he just played Rhea. And see, that's kind of the weird thing about that Rhea. If you're not in a ramp deck, the turn you play her, you can't ink again, so you can't even take advantage of her effect.
He could have used Gaston.
True, yeah, if he'd have put her out that way.
Ready the Gaston, and then still have 2 ink ready. Now, to me, it just means he didn't have a 2-drop. He didn't play one on curve. He didn't have another way there to take advantage of the ink. So there's no real reason to do it, and it can kind of make your opponent think you don't know how your cards work, and that's always a bonus.
Lure him into that false sense of security. As we are about to approach turn 5, so we could see that King of the Pride lands coming through if Humble has him in hand. Mufasa is always a wonderful card to put out on any board because you don't really care if it gets banished. It's hopefully always going to turn into something even greater. So we could take advantage of this Raya's ability. Does she work on herself? Let me check. You may ready another character. Okay, so she cannot ready herself. It would have to be another character, but it does mean we can double up on this Gaston effect if we wanted to. You use the effect, make the next one 2 cheaper, put a card to the inkwell, ready Gaston, do it again, make the next card 2 cheaper. So now you've got a 4 ink discount. And there's Maui for 1. That feels pretty good as Maui's going to go in and boop, hit old Grandma Tala there. He's like, I'll teach you to tell stories about me back to Moana. Takes 3 damage, which we follow up with the Rapunzel. Oh, man, that was the perfect ink curve turn. The double discount with the Gaston into the
So
Rapunzel.
good,
Oh,
right?
absolutely love it.
Everything you need to be doing there. Oh, I
Now
love
that's the
Rapunzel.
kind of turn that
So
makes you
good.
want to play a Mufasa deck, as we will quest with the Raya and the Card Soldier, go all the way up to 6 lore. And our opponent, I don't think, is quite in Be Prepared range yet. Or no, they are. Okay, if it's accurate, it's 7. So be prepared. Be prepared. We'll clean this board up rather handily, but we did get 3 card draws off of Rapunzel, so we should be able to reload rather effectively. Oh, that was fantastic. When I see stuff like that, that goes, oh, I should play a Mufasa deck because that just looks fun.
I mean, yeah, it normally is.
Justice actually
Alright.
starts with a popsicle, so as long as we can still ink this turn, we can still threaten to be prepared. Otherwise, Tala could trade with the Raya is probably its best bet.
I figured it out. All right, we did it.
Excellent.
It took me all that time. I never even found the link. I just was smart and reverse engineered it by looking at the link for the card viewer and then just deleted
Nice.
that, which I should have done in the beginning. But I mean, Justice wiping that board with a B prep and Humble without a namesake card of Mufasa to get back in there.
We do
Oh,
see a
well.
Lumiere. Oh, and there he is. Okay. He was just
Probably
one
would've
turn a
been
little
better
later.
last turn. But
It looks
I
like
mean,
that might
Rapunzel
be-
drew enough cards, right? Like it's fine to play to be prepared
Yeah,
if it's a Rapunzel.
absolutely. That looks. Is that a special version of Mufasa? The card itself looks a little different.
So his are altered.
Oh, okay. Nice. We have a Maui shark here. This appears to be a pretty decent turn to establish it. We do. Here comes the half shark saying, your Maui may have been tough, but mine is obsessed with actions. And go ahead, exert that Mufasa, because I'll clean it up, and I'll clean up whatever else you follow up with it. As we start with Little Piglet. Okay. And Lumiere, so we're going to increase the strength of the other characters on the board, both Piglet and Mufasa. Mufasa still not quite enough
Yep.
to trade with
And no coil.
a half shark. Yeah, no coil.
on Justice side, so it's like it needs another be prepared.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Humble's going to be able to quest for 6 up to 12, but that does let the shark then come down. So it's a little frustrating, and it means the shark's going to definitely take down the Mufasa, right? Get back to B prep, play it. So then Mufasa can't necessarily quest. But if Humble just drops another Mufasa, quests with Piglet and Lumiere and passes, like that's not a terrible place. Was he going to do play B prep with 2 Mufasas? Go for it.
Right. Yeah, please. let me get something amazing off the top. We've seen this Lumiere not only in this list, but some of the Ruby Amethyst lists have been running this as well. Maybe as a way just to buff up maybe Peter Pan like Shadow Finder, so that way he can take out a Diablo that's at a cove. I'm not sure the exact reasons, but I know it has been more popular lately.
The Peter Pan, we're in evasive wars right now. There's
Yeah.
Diablos, there is Iagos, there is now Moana. You have Shark, Genie, Elsa, sometimes Pegasus. There's just so many things that you kind of need to take out, and some of them, like Peter Pan and Iago, are designed to take out the others. Being
Yeah.
able to rush a Iago into something is like quite devastating. Oh man, Justice
Woo!
is like, oh, you're not going to do anything? I'll gain lore. What? Answer this.
Yeah, don't mind if I do. He doesn't really have a way to challenge the shark, and now just puts on his construction helmet, builds 2 McDuck Manors, and says, "What are you going to challenge me with? What 4, 7? Even if they all of them together could take out a single manor, and then the shark, of course, just punishes you for it." And this is why this list has been so popular, right? And why we saw it win that Australian Continentals, because this double threat of shark and manor that, hey, you got to deal with both. They're both threats you have to answer.
Yeah, and he takes one down, which is reasonable.
Wow.
The question is, does he have Lady Tremaine?
That would be very nice here. Because, yeah, I don't think challenging with Piglet was his intended line of play when he brought that Pooh Pirate Captain into the game.
Super goof.
Gonna put 2 on the other manor. Maui will get to punish one of these, and like you said, man, he can just get back
This
that Be
is-
Prepared, even fired off.
It's not great for Humble. That's for sure.
Humble needs to flip off the Mufasa some red or yellow card that immediately banishes a location, which I don't think exists, but
Needed to be able to like get card draw for a Rapunzel or something.
yeah.
But it's what I mean. He needed the Tremaine on that last turn. That's
Yeah,
really
he
what
really
needed.
did.
Tremaine giving that extra boost to be able to just answer the shark if that's in there. Oh,
Oof.
that's
Other
it needed to
Gothel.
be in play, and we needed to hit a Rapunzel off of it.
Yeah. Not a great hit, and wisely with, and again, like the shark essentially nullifying the advantage of the Mufasa. Even if he'd hit something amazing, you've already gotten the Be Prepared back, so you're just going to wipe out whatever it is anyway.
Yeah, Maui Shark has been really showing how powerful it's been.
Mhm.
It's been a lot of play. It's what's keeping this Ruby Sapphire deck alive, and it's like right here. Like
Yeah.
it allowed us to be prep again. We got some Twilight Bark action. I love this card. I love Pongo. It does not see near enough play, and I'm just a huge fan. Yeah, Twilight
Yeah.
Bark into a Stitch. Like, okay, gain your 2 lore. You better have another B prep because I'm gonna play a 1-drop here, and then I'm gonna draw 2 cards off of a big
Yeah.
Surfer Boy.
It's so nice that you can use that action ability the moment it comes into play. So
Yep.
many of the cards in
Ooh.
Lorcana, they have the exert symbol. You have to wait a whole turn. But yeah, Twilight Bark, when you're on these higher ink counts, you can fully take advantage of it. Nonetheless, Justice is on the deck that you think would have more late game power, and he's ahead on lore. So this is looking
Makes
tough for
me-
Ruby Amber. I want to. I'd love to see it come back, but I don't know. This is getting kind of dicey.
I am interested to know what Humble's last card is, because he inked the Surfer Boy to play the Gaston.
Oh, and there is another Be Prepared. Oh, we could have gotten so much value off of that Pongo. But Justice says, no, you were
One thing
not
at
prepared.
least.
There's Maui. Okay, Maui is going to come in and at least say, all right, I'm tired of your building permits. You are not authorized to build in this zone, sir. Tear it down.
I'm tired of your location. Well, too dang bad. Take it down, Maui.
Poor Scrooge was given a tour of his manor, and this demigod just came through and
He started breaking everything up. He's just like, what's going on? Did the
He's
Beagle
like,
Boys
"What?"
pay you? What's going
Yeah,
on
right?
here?
like, it must have been that Glomgold Tamatoa.
Oof.
I'm so glad we get to see this card, Luke, as we're going to pull back 2 popsicles. This shows you the power of this card, that a lot of these decks, they're the only items they're running are 4 popsicle, and people still think it's worth it to play this Tamatoa, because at its worst, you're essentially allowing yourself to draw 2 cards deeper. Like, man, is this card
It's
strong.
just a slow Flaversham.
Yeah.
They played Flaversham and just Popsicle as the only items, right? That's what DKP did. This is
Mhm.
similar-ish. He's playing the Crab with only Popsicles. The Crab is basically a 6-cost 4/6 quest for 2 that draws 2 cards.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Sing some
Insanely powerful.
songs.
Can even play
Puts
one for
dimes
free
in
if
if
it
they
happens
play
to
it.
line up.
We don't know exactly what's in Justice list. I mean, I do, but chat doesn't. It's most likely just a DKP list from what we've seen so far, but you never know. Like, there could always be some spice in there, and just pop into pop into pop.
Holy moly.
Pop, pop, pop.
Didn't opt to play any of those for free as he could have. He could have quest, and Medusa is going to knock out the Gaston. Granted, if he does quest with this Tamatoa, it does open it up to be punished by the Maui, and Maui can even survive. I do like that Maui can trade effectively with this card.
Yeah, it's just quite good. Earned its legendary status, and
Yeah.
Humble drew nothing.
And passed. Ugh. Yeah, I wonder if maybe he shouldn't have inked that Stitch, but maybe he felt like he couldn't get enough characters out to get the draw.
Wouldn't have been able to draw off it yet, anyways. Sadly,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
As Medusa will sing how far she'll go, how far I'll go. As we'll add 1 to the inkwell, 1 to our hand. And if we want, we could. Well, we probably have no. I would assume we have no more items to play, unless we've got a sneaky lucky diamond here. Oh, there's Grandma Tala as well. And a lot of these red Fossil lists too, they themselves don't run Be Prepared because it's not a card that can be flipped off of Mufasa. So as this board just gets bigger and bigger, this is going to favor Justice, unless Humble's got a surprise for us and he is running one. But
back in the day, they did play some Be Prepareds.
oof.
Now that's not lore accurate. Tamatoa singing away a Maui? No.
Oh no! And we get our third McDuck Manor out there. And I don't know what Humble could draw right now to get out of this. And he doesn't either because he scoops it up as Justice is going to take game 1.
It was kind of anyone's game for a moment.
Yeah.
Humble did some stuff, Justice reacted. Did more stuff, Justice reacted. Then Justice did something, Humble had to react, Justice reacted, wiped the board, put it to a clear board plus a manor. Humble Twilight barked, great buyback.
Yeah.
Justice, another Be Prepared. And that's the thing is these DKP lists, if he's running the full DKP, that is 8 copies of board wipes, most likely. I mean, the Sisus they have targets. We saw Piglet. We saw Card Soldiers. We saw Super Goof and Mulan. Maybe we saw Mulan. Or Gaston, not Mulan. Gaston.
Yeah.
We saw Gaston. So without the Lumiere, which we did see, I guess that gets hit, but it's going to stop the others from getting hit. Without those, that's so many resets. And that's the kind of thing that Humble doesn't want to see. What he needs to see is 1 or 2 lions. So when the B prep happens, he puts a character into play.
Yeah.
But he gets stuck in these kind of frustrating situations where if he quests with the lion, then Maui just comes in. And then the B prep happens the next turn. Or something similar to that. And if you're not questing with him, then he's just anti B prep protection.
Yeah.
You quest with him 2 turns and they Medusa it anyways. It's like, ugh.
And Humble had such a good combo turn too there with the Maui and then hitting the Tala and the healing off the Rapunzel. But yeah, that Be Prepared, just resetting the board and just couldn't get his feet after that. I would have loved to have seen the Twilight Bark go off multiple times, but Justice said, not in my neighborhood, sir. Humble is going to start. Go ahead.
Imagine if that shark taking the Maui or the Mufasa down flipped another Mufasa.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I've lost games that I was like, I got this in the bag. All right, I'll challenge Mufasa. I don't care. Dragon, who cares? What got me was into Mufasa, into Dragon. Because then it did put too much damage taking them down to allow them to slow me down and stop.
Justice inks a sail, so that implies to me he's already got his ramp this time, like he didn't have last time. Humble does at least find a 2-drop this time. Not a lot of lore pressure on the board, but at least he is getting that next body on the board because he definitely missed that turn last time.
Imagine if it was a Piglet.
Yeah, that's huge. Pirate's Life into Sail or Tipo?
Of no Piglet on turn 2.
Yeah, that feels bad.
He has 2-drops. Like, we saw Mother Gothel last game. We saw Piglet. And Card Soldiers, so there's not too many that we saw, and the Mulan, so he has at least 8 that we're aware of that he could have played on curve.
Yeah,
actually 12. Wait, no, 20 characters that he could have played in the first 2 turns, because we also have the Lumieres, but we've got a lot of aggressive, not going for the riot combo this time.
Well, and last time he got this Gaston out on turn 3, but his turn 4 he just paid for the riot naturally. So if this Gaston can lead us to a Mufasa and maybe even another card, the hard cast, how far I'll go, no body to put out.
So we need to see Mufasa.
Yeah, because that tells me Justice is just trying to run to a Be Prepared as quickly as he can, as Gaston is going to use his influence. Okay, not bad. Bring out Rapunzel, get 2 heals off the Mulan.
No,
Who do we have? Well, we inked Piglet.
We need you, Piglet.
Okay, so Piglet for Piglet.
Okay. I still might have played the second. Maybe. I guess we don't have Pete's here, so it's kind of hard to tell what's in Humble's hand. But that's a clock, right? We have 3, 4, 8 lore in play, and we already have 5, and we're at 6 ink for Justice. So Humble has to play a Mufasa next turn. Just has to.
Yeah, it'll really punish that Be Prepared unless you just hit something terrible off of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is then he also has to hit something worth it, right? Like, oh yeah, he's all characters, but some of his characters are not good. I know in the pre-show Saskia was talking about
Medusa on the Piglet. She was like, bacon's on the menu tonight because This piggy's going bye-bye. The nice thing is, at least this makes the Be Prepared a little less effective. Tremaine, okay, scoops up the Medusa. Maybe if he doesn't have Be Prepared, we can run away with this.
Maybe, but this is, once again, we're in a rough spot.
Yeah.
Like, Be Prepared is a heck of a card. He's just like scooping them all up. He's like, all right, show me the B prep. Show me the B prep. Judge is like, hold on.
Yeah, he has to actually show it. Who knows? He might challenge you with a Rush Maui.
Not the Piglet Bacon comment. Rebecca Quest does not appreciate the light bacon.
He doesn't have it. He's going for a vision of the future.
Humble is, I bet Humble is scooping him up and just is like, oh, I don't have it.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is what Humble wants to see right here. This is what he needs.
And sometimes card games come down to that, right, Luke? Like, you got to make them have it. They don't always have it. Sometimes they have to find it. And Justice is really digging.
And his Sisu doesn't even do it because of the Lumiere.
Yeah. Yeah, Lumiere is really protecting this board. Oh, if that Piglet could have left. No wonder he dropped the Medusa, knowing he didn't have the B prep, saying, I've got to slow this down. Tell me Mufasa's coming in.
Two.
Okay, I like that. Little surf and stitch action.
But we need the cards, right? And that's all. Like, it still puts it, you have to have B prep.
Yeah.
And that's Quest for 6.
Yeah, Cece was not going to cut it here, so it is Be Prepared or Bust for Justice. We could see a scoop here unless he has found it. He did dig a lot. A vision. There it is. Okay. Be Prepared will clear this board out. However, Humble was able to draw off of that stitch, so surely he can reload with something. Some kind of aggressive. And there's the king himself.
It's one of the best cards you can play knowing they're going into B prep. Because it's like, if they don't have B prep, I've committed enough that 1 or 2 small minor answers won't stop me. And if you have the B prep, I'm at least drawing 2 more cards when I might not have been able to if I played this afterwards because you took out all my characters. And now Justice is like, how do I deal with this?
It's got to be Shark. Shark is the biggest answer.
That's one way. It actually kind of cleanly answers in this weird way.
Yeah.
Where it's going to put the new card in play and get you the Be Prepared you need. I mean, we need Amethyst decks playing It Calls Me. That's right? How you answer Shark. You just shuffle the 3 cards into their deck.
Yeah, that's why I like that new Queen, too. Is just like, I'm just going to send those actions right to the bottom, if you don't mind.
Yep, and they're playing All Is Found, so most of the DKP lists are, and so that's going to help you exile, or like, put cards on their discard in the bottom of their deck.
Oh,
now there you go.
Tremaine.
Be prep this, punk. He had the Tremaine. That's what he needed. He needed the Tremaine for the Shark. Sharks, they don't sit on tables.
Exactly.
You know who does? Red ladies.
You're darn right. And Be Prepared, like you said, now it's going to leave whatever the Mufasa reveals as well, so not nearly as clean of an answer when the Shark hasn't already brought out the threat in the first place. Are we scooping up?
Going to game 3.
All right. Congrats, Humble. Way to go.
I've not been on top of it. Boop, boop. There we go. I'll add the star cards so people know that they've each won a game. They've each won a game. We got 34 minutes for game 3. Probably won't need it, but we're there. We're ready. We got this.
Do you think there was anything Justice could have done differently? I mean, it felt like he was digging as hard as he could to try to find that B prep, and it just came about a turn too late.
He could have drawn better. That was one thing.
Yeah, right.
But without knowing what's in his hand, it didn't really look like he made mistakes. He played ramp and ramp, but not characters. I'm assuming if he had characters there to play, he would have played them and then sang the song the next turn, which is kind of what he did in game 1, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so Humble will finally be on the draw this time, so Humble will be going second. Do you adjust your game plan at all? Do you think in this Mufasa list going second, or are you just, same thing, I'm going to try to find Piglet, I'm going to try to just hit the gas and go?
I think you still want to be as fast as you can. I mean, realistically, he wants to be like Mulan, Mother Gothel, Gaston, Rapunzel play Piglet. Like, it's kind of a good curve. But Justice is just going to ramp and hope that doesn't matter. So, like, Humble has this weird line that he has to use his Surfers, his Twilight Barkers, his Mufasas, his Rapunzels, to try to keep up the card advantage. Because this game is just going to be him deploying threats and Justice answering them. And if he's not able to deploy threats, then Justice gets to play threats. And we saw that in game 1, that if Justice gets to play threats and then start answering Humble, then Humble's going to lose. Because the threats that Justice deploys and then protects is all it needs. It's a simple, basic protect the queen strategy. He plays a location, he wipes the board. Wipes the board, plays 2 locations. It's tried and true. It's a 1 DKP, some quite a bit of cards, like it works. And back in the day, it was B prep castle, right?
Yeah,
like,
protect the queen's castle. Ride the castle to victory. Yeah, I still enjoy the. I remember those days. I mean, I've done that with a lot of Ruby Amethyst lately. Like, just get out a bunch of libraries, castles, and just wipe the board over and over and over again.
Castle is such an unfun card. we talk about card. Yeah, people are like, "You play Diablo. What are you talking about?" Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, to an extent. The problem with Castle, in my mind, is that when it's good, it's too good. I don't know. It's hard to argue because it obviously was not band worthy. It was just very frustrating because it's just like, oh, I can answer the character. Well, then they're going to keep gaining lore. I answer the location, or they just sit back. And oh, you can't answer this castle, but you have character removal. Like, I'm just going to draw 1,000 cards. I think once you start drawing cards with castle, it is so insane.
Yeah.
And you draw more than with Diablo sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Diablo's drawing you an extra card a turn. You know how bad it feels to pass the turn and have your opponent draw 4 cards?
Right.
They're already winning on board. They had no cards in hand. I didn't draw B prep. Now I lose.
I get it. I definitely get it. We do see a card soldier on Humble's side and another Vision of the Future, so no ramp this time. And one thing we haven't seen yet, Luke, from Humble, he has not yet had the Mufasa in play before the Be Prepared has hit. So if he could get that, I would love to see that turn 3 Gaston, boom, bring out the Mufasa the next turn. We haven't seen it yet.
I mean, he did have the Mufasa pre-B prep earlier. No, you're right. He did play one first and then got it.
Yeah, well, and the Shark was on board, so the Shark was able to eat it up and then get the Gothel out. Speaking of which, here's the Gothel this time.
We don't need a Mulan if we have Gothel.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a Tipo. So unless Justice is skipping turn 4, Mother Gothel gets to quest, basically.
Absolutely. Free. And you know what? A card like Gothel and Mulan always make me more nervous when you're facing Steel because they have all these songs that can finish it off. But against Ruby, Blue, Red, Blue, what are they going to do to it? Anything they do it would naturally challenge it anyway. So,
yeah, you're mainly just worrying about Rush.
Yeah.
Like a Super Goof. All right. If Justice plays Super Goof right here, I think he might just win the game. Actually.
Well, he's on 3 inks, so we'll have to wait at least one more turn.
Okay.
Inks of Vision.
My mind was that he ramped on 2, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't.
And be aware that card soldier does have 2 extra strength right now because it's getting powered up by seeing the Gothel. So ramp 1 turn late. Humble's probably happy to see that.
Well, yes and no. Now Gothel can't quest.
True. Yeah,
and
now
we're up to 5. So there's also the possibility of Maui's. At least DKP has cut brawls, right? So if Humble is aware of that most people cut brawls, and if Justice is on a straight DKP list, then we have this scenario where Humble's like, okay, you don't have brawl. You can't answer my Gaston. I get to do stuff. Most likely, there's no cards in your deck. Now, that said, I do believe we did see a Let It Go in game 1.
We saw Let It Go. We haven't seen a Brawl, though, so either he just hasn't drawn them or, he's not running them in the list.
I think I would be quite surprised if Justice Let It Go'd any character in play right now.
Yeah. We do have Maui, but we put it into the inkwell, for his doppelganger, which is himself Maui. Maui's going to take out the card, put 3 damage on it.
So we might even just see just a Rapunzel.
Yeah, you could just Rapunzel, heal. You could even then trade out the Maui if you wanted with the Gothel.
I like how he's like, I just imagine Humble being like, you want to target my Gothel, right? You want the Gothel? He was tapping it like the Gothel.
You could,
Gothel?
yeah.
Gothel? You should have targeted the Gothel, friend.
You should have targeted Gothel. Gleam and glow, baby, as Rapunzel comes down and let the hair shine. As Mother Gothel will be reinvigorated with the youth of the magic essence.
Humble's only at 2. Justice only has 3 cards, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could play Crab here. A Crab here would not be bad. It's a threat. It draws a card. It kind of maintains some stuff, as well as a shark would be terrifying. And unlike before, Tremaine can't just come down and clear this board. Like
Tipo been like the bane of Tremaine's existence since that card came out. Ugh, it was so much easier back in the day.
There's another Tipo. It's not. Justice doesn't want to be drawing the ramp on the slate. Only 2 cards left in hand, but committing a shark does lower that, right? So if we don't see more card draw from Justice and Humble keeps drawing cards, there is a world. And I think it's just a visions in discard, but you don't want to give them visions.
As we ink the Surfer Stitch to get the Twilight Bark on the board. And the nice thing too for Humble is that because Justice is now committed to the shark, if he finds himself in a situation where he has to be prepared, well, he's losing all of his own characters as well.
Yep. And he's now chilling. I think he's just going to try to go for one big quest, maybe get as much card advantage from the few things he can. Yeah, that's just draws a card, basically. I highly doubt Justice is going to ink twice unless it's for some gigantic card advantage card.
Yeah. Grammatala, this board's getting awful wide, Luke.
I think that's 1 card in hand, maybe 2. Yeah, wide board to prevent some questing, maybe, but
yeah,
it looks like 3 cards in hand then.
The shark is going to put in work. I haven't seen anything on Humble's side that can deal with an evasive as the shark sings, all is found from the north wind.
This is a tough choice. This is an insanely difficult choice.
It's 2 discards from the discard to the bottom of your or to your inkwell, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, look at that. Only wait.
What happened?
What is underneath the popsicle?
Is it another popsicle? I can't tell. Or is it knowledge and wisdom?
Out when it happens.
Not knowledge and wisdom. Develop your brain?
You can't put that in the discard, bruh. Right?
Oh, yeah. You have to pick something else. Did he pick the card itself?
Yeah, you can't.
Put up to 2 cards from your discard into your inkwell face down exerted.
Well, I'm pretty sure the card is still technically in the bag while it is finishing.
When you cast a card, does it immediately go to discard, or does it like hang out in space?
All right. I'm MTG pilled. All right, so it is a possibility, but I'm pretty sure you do all the card's abilities and then you put the card in the discard pile. So that would mean that you can't put the all is found itself in there.
Yeah,
all is found would have seen play sooner. 1,000%.
Right. Yeah, because in Magic it would be on the stack and it's waiting on the stack. In
Magic, you 1,000% cannot do this. In Lorcana,
who knows?
There's a world. I'm pretty sure you can't, and that's probably what they're discussing now. They're probably making sure that it's okay. I mean, we even see Judge Phil saying "hold on" in chat, so he's probably checking it out too. Probably got message. We'll figure it out.
Dude, if it works that way, then that would mean
a card on. So apparently, someone has been doing some stuff digitally, and the rules in that wasn't working the way it should have, which is unfortunate for Justice here because he's going to have to lose if he wants to ramp 2. It says up to. He could only choose 1, which I think would be a big mistake. Well, he's still gained. No, he could just quest. He could have just inked the all is found itself. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, now this is big.
Okay.
Humble can quest now.
Yeah, because the only action is the all is found.
Exactly. So, I mean, to be fair, Justice could have another good action, but if he already has a good action, he has a good action, right? Like, sure, he could go how far I'll go, challenge how far I'll go. Could be brutal for us. The how far I'll go itself is already bad, right? It's the visions for B prep that, in my mind, is terrifying.
The Stitch. Oh, it's Tremaine. Okay, so we're going to get rid of Tala. That Twilight Bark putting in work. And finally, Humble says it's time to turn sideways.
We ain't. Bongo, he's a good boy. He's staying at home. He's getting all the pets and head pats. He's just sitting there barking for new dogs to come out and to defend the yard. He's a good old boy. He's retired.
Absolutely. Well, this is the most interesting board state we've seen in these 3 matches so far, where a Be Prepared will actually hurt both players pretty equally right now. And unless Justice has another action in hand, as you alluded to, he doesn't really have anything good to get back from that discard with this Shark Challenge. That being said, with both 2 Mauis on the board, you can also take out 2 things on
Oh,
your
yeah.
opponent's board pretty easily.
So Humble did a play here that I do a lot, where it's kind of like I'm turning one thing sideways.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be answered easily by dozens of things that are in play, correct? Oh, and so he had at least one action.
Sale's
to
pretty
buy
good.
back.
That'll be a good one to get back.
It could be better, but it's better than nothing for sure. And what this is, he's like, well, I can now quest with my other 2 characters because he's only going to take down 2, almost guaranteed. Now, sure, he can play a Maui, wipe them all.
Sure.
That's probably not that bad for Humble, honestly. But if he doesn't take it all out, then he's going to get 1 extra quest with one of these characters that he would not have gotten had he only left the Gaston and then quested the next turn.
Yeah.
Granted, you could argue that if he only left the Gaston, then the next turn he quests with 4, and the same argument applies, but he didn't quest with the Pongo. Meaning he's not respecting a Be Prepared right now, which is fine, I think. Because Justice would have to have drawn it right here. Otherwise, it would have been played, I think, earlier.
Absolutely. So Maui does take out Gaston. We'll take an additional 2 damage. Here comes Tamatoa, and you know he's happy as a clam. But there's only 1 popsicle, so it's not
that had
as
to be in
bad.
His hand. That had to have been in his hand earlier, right?
We're going to ink our second manner. So this is 1 less manner that Humble potentially will have to deal with. Justice is going to be able to play out this popsicle to draw. I think he's at least got 1 in hand, maybe 2, and really using these popsicles to heal the Maui, saying, hey, there's no Flaversham I need to save these for. I need to keep this card healed and healthy, which currently means only the Medusa is going to be able to trade into it, as Half Shark will take out Rapunzel, presumably going to get back Sail the Azurite Sea.
And see, his Gothel gets 1 extra out of it. A little surprised that Justice didn't quest, but that said, challenging the Tipo and then trading the 4/4 in Maui then lets Lady Tremaine really feast. So it's a pretty heads-up play by Justice by not taking the automatic gameplay of questing that a lot of people might have taken. It's a heads-up to play around the Tremaine.
Yeah, and Humble just drew the Lumiere off the Twilight Mark, so if he does this, he can run the Mother Gothel now into the Maui. She'll be hitting for, she's at 4/5, and there's another Gaston. The Pongo putting in a lot of work as there goes Maui. Do we want to quest? Yes, Medusa is actually a 5/4 right now, so that shark can take a bite, but he's not going to like what he tastes.
Humble here is having to adjust to the do not ready your ink at end of turn. He's done it like 3 times and then been told to ready his ink, I'm sure. It is a habit that everyone's going to have to get into. Who knows what new cards get printed?
Yeah.
And right now, there is things that matter. Even more so for Humble, because he's the one playing Mufasa, and that's the main way to have something come into play on your opponent's turn that you have to pay ink for.
Yeah.
Putting an Anna or something like that into play. And I think more and more abilities like that will start coming into the game. Sure, you can't play instance on your opponent's turn, but we might have things that trigger based on our opponent activating our trap cards, i.e. challenging our characters. Like, what if
Luke,
there was a character... Yeah?
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what if there's a character that said, when this is banished, you may play an action from your hand for free on any turn?
Yeah. Or pay for it, with ink from your inkwell.
Oh, or pay for it. Yeah. It's like, when this is banished, you may play an action right now if you have the ink for it. Like,
if you thought Sail the Azurite Sea was a good card beforehand, hey, when you attach 1 lore to it, that's even better.
Yeah.
Both players are actually having to play this interesting game right now with their character count. No one wants to go too wide, because if you go too wide, now you're inviting in the Be Prepared easily. Whereas if you're kind of keeping a similar character count, and there's yo ho, a pirate's life for me, as the shark is going to gain 3 lore off of that and put our opponent all the way back down to 4. And there's the manner. Oh, that troublesome manner. Justice is building his way towards victory. Can Humble counter this?
How does he have so many cards in his hand?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was super low. He did the popsicle and then he did the sail. So both of those
I thought he had 1 card in hand. I thought he drew for turn, inked, played crab, got back popsicle. He must have not been inking for a couple of turns. That would make That would make sense. And most of the cards he's played have cantripped, like sail and a draw card.
Yeah.
It's what I get for just rambling. I'm missing the important details of tracking hands.
So Pongo and Medusa could run into the manor right now and take it out by themselves. You probably don't want to expose the Pongo, but also your opponent's ahead on lore. I think you have to answer this manor. I don't see a world where you can just let it sit there. Gaston, not quite enough. A Maui would be very nice here as well. If we had it. Maui could actually hit it for 7. Yeah, Dragon.
Maui.
Okay, well, there's Maui. So Maui will hit for 7.
I feel like I would have Twilight barked before doing any of this, but
yeah, just to see what you get. And the nice thing about Maui and Medusa is, again, if Justice challenges any of these cards with that shark is he's going to deep
Maui
waters.
so mad.
Oh, there's Mufasa. It's the first one we've seen, I think, in this round, this game.
I don't know if that would have necessarily changed plays, honestly.
Yeah, I think you had to get rid of the manor.
Yeah, being able to get back that pirate's life,
I know,
and do it again is kind of rough.
Well, I mentioned, okay, so Humble is going wide now. He might be trying to put on the lore pressure at this point.
Interesting.
Does quest with the Pongo.
When are they going to tell him to ready his ink? I'm sure it'll happen at any moment. So I assume he's doing it because he does have the Illumineer bonus, so it would be trading with Shark.
Although you could heal the shark first with the popsicle. Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know if he forgot about that or is just hoping Justice won't see that line. Because, yeah, you can heal the shark, have it take out the Pongo, can get back the pirate's life, still sticks around. Justice, no intention to be prepared, though, as he brings down Grandma Tala to tell us a tale about the top 2 cards of our deck.
I mean, he's at 7 lore. He's currently winning the lore race,
yeah,
honestly. And he can go up to 10 and maybe even sing another pirate's life and then be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. And you know he has no way to answer an evasive. So unless this board gets empty and you can bring out a Tremaine or maybe you get to a dragon, like he knows the shark can just do whatever it wants. As we do see Develop Your Brain, which was always a good card, but even better when 1 lore is attached to it. Shark is going to sing How Far I'll Go.
I mean, that's why they call it Shark Burn.
Right.
It just bursts so much lore. Way more than people expected it to.
Oh yeah, it's I definitely was clamoring for a once per turn clause on that after I suffered many defeats at it.
It is so much better than Radigan.
I know, yeah. And it came out before Radigan.
Yeah.
Like it'd be one thing if Radigan was like a chapter 3 card, and then this card came out in set 6 or whatever. It's like, no, Radigan came out after this one.
Like Radigan should just defaultly quest for a couple.
Oh, and there's Super Goof gonna give that to Pongo, and yeah, he'll trade with it, but that's another 2 lore. Yeah, I don't think Justice has any intention of answering his opponent's board at this point, just saying, you answer me. I'm actually gonna go way ahead of you.
Well,
still doesn't quest with the Tamatoa.
If he tries answering his board, then there's a world that Humble cracks back and is able to do a few things. But what Humble needs right now is a dragon.
Yeah, we gotta get that shark off the board.
Well, let's draw into that dragon.
We'll draw some cards.
It's 5 lore in play, up to 16.
Yeah.
He only has 1 card in hand.
And so, yeah, Humble now feeling I've got to potentially just put on this pressure.
I actually don't know if I would even quest here.
Yeah, I don't know if you do either. Because you don't want that shark to get back Pirate's life.
Because, like, he quests for 4 up to 15. Pirate's life puts him at 18. But that does take a lot of his ink up.
Puts another Humble is just trying to I think he's trying to just force the board at this point, say, hey, I need to just, if you're going to win by lore burn with the shark, then I need so many characters that I can get there, or that it forces you to be prep and get rid of your own shark, would be my guess.
I think I'd agree with that.
I mean, Justice, like you said, he can quest to 16. If he does Pirate's Life in a single action, he wins.
Well, the quest, he can't get Pirate's Life back and quest with shark, right?
Yeah, if he drew like another one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if you just drew one. Just raw dog the Pirate's Life here.
Although you'd think he would just slap it out then if he had it, but Pirate's Life, Luke, a card that I didn't think was. I thought that card was totally fine until I saw Shark start singing it and recurring it, and I'm
the
like,
card was not.
this
near
card's
good
ridiculous.
enough. It's not ridiculous. Oh, that's visions into Pirate's Life.
Oh,
Like I don't think the card is absurd at all. And it's fine. I think it's a fair and reasonable card at its cost and what it does.
Mhm.
Maybe Sing Together's too good, but even then, I don't think so. It just happens to be the option that they play. Like they were playing, they would play Dime otherwise, right? They have ways to burst that. It just happens to be that Shark is hard to deal with, and it gains you another lore. So all of a sudden, it gains you 3 lore, which is a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit. I mean, that is a big chunk of lore gain and another Shark.
Man, you know what's better than 1 Shark? 2. I don't think he has enough.
Those first.
Yeah, he must have drawn it off the vision. So now we can challenge with this Shark because there are plenty of targets that will not take out the half Shark.
And he gets the visions, or Pirate's Life.
I think he's got Pirate's Life in there.
He can sing the Pirate's Life off of the 2
crab
characters and quests. So that's
off the Tala and the.
But he doesn't need to.
He would go to 16, 17, 18. Just goes for vision.
Even has enough to play it to gain 2 more lore.
Visions of the Future, already a good card, and then when you put 2 on it, that's pretty solid. They're double checking the damage.
He said card soldier, and then he would put 4 damage on it. I think he did the wrong thing. Oh, and then it's supposed to be 2 damage because card soldier had the Lumiere.
Yeah, and Card Soldier, there wasn't a damage. Was there a damaged unit when Card Soldier got hit? Did the Shark have damage on it? Because then the Card Soldier would have hit for 4.
He popsicled.
Okay, so he did heal it beforehand. Tamatoa quest for 2. Do we have a free popsicle? Nope, doesn't matter. Sing Together, and that's the game. That is a Pirate's Life. Oh man,
20. Yeah, that does it. That would do it right there.
Humble, I thought, really tried to navigate that about as best as he was able to with his cards. Maybe he could have been a little more patient, but just there's so many threats you have to deal with. Congrats to Justice. That was a heck of a win.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we're going to swap over to Discord if you wanted to do that. I'm going to mute you in here. So I'm only going to be able to hear you
4.8
now.
4.3.4.8. Yep. Should be part of playing a card. Yep.
Gotcha.
I'll post it in the general.
All right.
Specific one.
That was quite the match there. A lot of back and forth there towards the end. Both of you kind of needing to draw different things and it kind of lining up for Justice. Justice was doing quite the good job there of protecting your Shark from the possibility of Humble drawing Lady Tremaines. What were you trying to see there, Humble? Towards you had multiple turns. What did you need to see to try to stay in that game? Maybe a dragon, or you tell me.
Dragon would have been really helpful. Honestly, so I was expecting steel. Most of my local meta has been switching over to steel. And various evasive purple decks. So I went with Madame Medusas. So I'm on a 4-2 split of Lady Tremaine and Madame Medusa. Both games 1 and 2, or game 1 and 3, I saw all my Medusas and none of my Tremaines, which was kind of the problem because there was an issue. There was a turn where he let my Gaston survive and played a Shark, and had the Medusa just been a Tremaine, the game is just completely different. But my Medusa is just dead against this matchup.
Yeah.
Outside of sniping T-pos and sniping Talas. I also just wasn't really able to I had the Maui on board that really didn't do anything, and his Maui plus his Shark just made me not be able to turn my card sideways for a while. Had I been able to just find a Tremaine, even if it didn't get the Shark, I'm in a much better spot just because I'm still just questing for a bunch, and then he probably has to change what he gets off of the Sharks that he's able to chain together, instead of just being able to find a bunch of dig. He has to deal with my board. I just wasn't. I didn't have the 4 copies. I found the 2 of instead of the 4 of, which is like kind of unfortunate, but happens.
Yeah, and you gotta love it when it happens that way.
So you mentioned the Medusa. Oh, do you mind if I
Go
ask?
for it. Go for it.
So you mentioned the Medusa Tremaine split. You see a card like the Shark. Is there a card in Amber and Ruby that you really like having to deal with Maui Half Shark? Is there one like you've used in the past and you found has been pretty successful dealing with that card?
Yeah, like you saw in game 2, like Lady Tremaine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Lady Tremaine is just like kind of like the all-star on the 6 slot. Medusa is good into like some steel decks and like some of like green steel specifically, as well as like amber steel.
Mm-hmm.
Are the 2 decks that like it's kind of where this deck has a weakness. So we want to kind of cover that with Mana Medusa. I'm not super fond of Mana Medusa. Like that card was Big Sisu. But Big Sisu also has been performing kind of badly, especially against this matchup where it just doesn't do anything. They had quests for 3, but it's not impacting the board state at all.
Yeah, when you have no way to manipulate their strength values, those cards definitely seem a lot weaker.
Yeah, we're in Amber too, so like I've trust me, I've been in the tank. I've been trying. Like I've been on copies of the Shifted Queen. I played Owl. I've played Patch. Patch was fun. Patch was a really good boy, but like he's just like it's all just too slow. It's not as efficient as like Coil or anything like that.
Well, speaking of efficiency, Justice, congratulations to you on your win as you were bringing the incredibly efficient Ruby Sapphire list. Hey, no Hiram, no problem for you, right? It didn't seem like you missed that card very much.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the Hiram ban was announced, my first thought was, well, Dino the Lore is only playing 2 of them anyway, and from the man himself, he was only playing the Hirams because other people were playing them, and he was happy that he was fine seeing them go. And I certainly think compared to the other red-blue lists and Blue Steel, rest in peace, losing the Hiram did not hit this anywhere near as bad.
It doesn't seem like you're running Brawl in your list. I know that's been a recent cut. Do you just find that it has less targets these days, or there's just better things to be doing, or heck, your list is so good you don't need it anyway? Like, do you miss Brawl at all?
So I dropped the Brawl. I'm playing something close to DKP's list from the weekend, but I'm playing 2 Medusa instead of 2 of the 4 Sisu.
Okay.
That's almost to bridge the gap between not playing the Brawls, because his reasoning for dropping it was that you just lose. Like if you're brawling a Diablo into a green steel opponent's Diablo Ursula 3-drop into Prince John, you're losing that game anyway. And so the Brawl is not actually helping you stabilize in those matchups. And I think now that Hiram is gone and we don't need to brawl enemy Hirams, I do think there's a pretty good case for being able to drop Brawl into, it does nothing for this mirror match anymore, and it's not making the difference into the green steel matchup compared to just, ramping to 7 and 8 and then hitting one of your Sisus or your B-Preps.
Right.
Missing ramp is just too devastating to have happen. Taking your turn off to play a Brawl instead of like being able to play a 4-drop to then seeing how far I'll go or play how far I'll go. As he was literally just saying, it slows you down too much.
This list seems incredibly efficient, and of course, this isn't the first time we've seen it. Is there any card that you feel like is maybe underperforming, or do you feel it's just very solid and very well constructed and not a lot of fat on the edges, if you will?
There really isn't, right? I think if there's 4 flex slots, it's those last 4 unankables and the Sisus and Medusas. The Medusa, I think, definitely not pulling quite as much weight as the Sisus are. I wasn't 100% comfortable going to 4 big Sisu flat out. Kind of split the difference there. And I think actually, and so far in my testing, the 2 extra Sisu would probably be better than Medusa. The real surprise actually is the All Is Found not underperforming. Every time I've resolved that card in testing and sort of in this match, even if you cannot put it under itself, that card is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, it seems very good. And of course, to clarify, because we know we had that moment during the match, so I guess when you cast an action, it's not technically in the discard pile yet, so you can't choose that as one of the choices, correct?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let me kind of shift that towards Humble as well. Humble, looking at your list, it looks like the only set 7 card you have is Card Soldiers, which seems to pair very well with a card like Mulan or Mother Gothel. Were there any other cards in the set that you've tried that, I don't know, maybe there's just something missing from them, or was there anything else you were considering, or there's not a lot you're feeling in set 7 that helps your deck out?
So there was a couple cards I was coping on. So like I'll just the cat's out of the bag here. We did not get anything for this deck outside of Card Soldiers from set 7. Like every single amber card. I don't know what Ravensburger has against the color amber, but you gotta help me out, man. That's one of my favorite colors. I want to play it. I want to play it so bad. They gave me Rapunzel in set 1. Was like, all right, deal with it.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's what you get.
That's kind of it, right?
Good enough.
But yeah, so like there's not a lot. So all the amber cards were just very lackluster. They did kind of okay things, but none of them are like very impactful. My dual color cards are all like racers, which like, aren't very powerful on their own or even with other racers. So like I was kind of scrambling. Card Soldiers is probably like the best card we could have gotten because it synergizes just so well with not only the things we're doing, but the things that like a lot of the opponents are doing. I remember like early testing even against like Blue Steel, where they would like quest with their Mr. Smee and put a damage on. I was like, okay, well my Card Soldiers is now just huge. So
yeah,
there was a really cool turn where I was able to like use my Gaston to clear a Mr. Smee, use my Card Soldiers to clear a Bell, play Rapunzel, draw 3 cards. So
nice.
Like, he just works because not a lot of people realize that it's not on himself, it's on anything. So they just get got by it. There were a couple cards like the Windy Darling in the dual color was really close. If it was a 6 cost, I think that card would be very, very powerful. But on 7 without an interest trigger is like pretty rough. And then go ahead.
Oh no, finish your thought, please.
The Lyle Tiberius work is interesting. The problem is we don't have a lot in the ways of like Rapunzel effects. Like we have Julieta, but Julieta is just like 1 card isn't enough.
Yeah.
And in 2 turns he kills himself. So it's like not great. 2 damage just doesn't go as far as it used to. And like nuking your own board also just isn't great in a deck that's trying to like maintain board control the entire game.
Well, I was going to say something I feel like this deck has potentially struggled with in the past was card draw, but you made it look very efficient today, especially Luke and I were kind of geeking out about the Pongo Determined Father with that Twilight Bark, especially in that final game. You got so much value off of it that it felt like it was keeping your hand very healthy.
Yeah, I was trying to put him in a situation where he had to cast Be Prepared. So like my hand at the time was like double Mufasa. So I was gonna get to a point where I just like played 2 Mufasas and went so wide that I could threaten lethal, force him to Be Prepared, which is gonna take care of his own sharks. And then like so in the meantime I was just keeping my hand full, hoping that like that exact situation would happen. So if he Be Preps and I just like play 2 Mufasas afterwards and I feel like I'm ahead. He just like didn't have to. I didn't find any Tremaine, so I wasn't able to start outing his board because he didn't turn anything sideways for me to challenge, which you know heads up play. But I just needed to find like the card that actually works in this matchup, and I found the card that doesn't work in this matchup.
Do you feel like a card? I don't think we ever got to see the Piglet come out as early as turn 2. Do you think a card like that could put on a bunch of pressure, or have you ever considered an angle like Daisy Duck to just try to do that lore racing aggro, or is that just not really what you're trying to accomplish here?
So Daisy Duck has 2 things going for it in the negative. One of them which is like uninkable, which uninkables in this deck are really important. Like I'm at 10, and it's still sometimes that feels like too many. So her being uninkable is kind of rough. And the fact that she just like draws your opponents towards outs outside of a deck like any kind of aggressive amber strategy or like Steel Song that can kind of just take advantage of your opponent like playing their cards. Outside of like those strategies, I don't think the card is very like kind of where I want personally. Like the worst thing in the world is like Quest with Daisy. They reveal a big Sisu and you're like, oh wonderful, love it here. But yeah, like. There was a time where like I had more piglets in the deck, and the curve changes against red blue into something more along of what you saw in game 2, where it was like 1-drop piglet Sisu. But like I didn't see any brawls in game 1, so it made me really a lot more comfortable doing Gaston on 3 rather than the Sisu. And
Yeah.
it was like it kind of worked out because I got to play the turn 4 Tremaine, which was like very powerful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice. All right. Well, I put your socials in the Twitch chat. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give before we move on?
Shout out Team Maelstrom, best team. And then like I don't know, shout out Wonder because he's cute.
Oh, don't forget to shout out your wife.
Yeah, and her. Shout out Lady Humble as well. Let me giving me a little bit of time to break away and get my teeth kicked in by a Maui shark.
Fun times. Justice,
Right.
how about you? What kind of shout outs would you like to give us?
Yep. Shout out for select few. We'll see if we can keep up the momentum. And for my local team, the Dudley Boys, and for all the Blue Steel players out there who are still trying to make the deck work. I'm not, but I really hope you all succeed.
Sounds good.
You two
I
have
love
a
you
great
so
night.
back.
Congrats again, Justice.
We all love you
GGs.
too. Chat, tell Humble you love him. All right.
Thanks.
We're going to swap over to our other casters, and you know them, you love them. But first, you get to listen to Rude Rose tell you some things first. All right, bye. Oh, well, I guess I should say the one, the only, JDZ and Katie, the innkeeper, the Lord. Dang it! One day I'll remember her intro. The Lore Keeper's in. All right, hold on. Let me click on this. We're gonna take a breather. We're gonna take a second. You're muted. Oh well, then go for it. We'll go back to you. We'll go back.
Am
to
I
you.
back?
And
Am I
we'll cut
back?
back. We can hear you now.
Okay, I think I'm back. All right, let me repeat that really quick. The trolling intensifies. So before we pass it off to Katie and JDZ, big shout out to Luke V. Wonderland for hosting. Appreciate you having me on, sir. Check me out on YouTube as well as the link tree I posted in the description of the chat box. Appreciate you all so much. And yeah, stick around for Katie's Lore Keepers in later.
Dang it,
tonight.
I was
We're
going to
be
say
having
it
some
right,
fun.
and you
I
had to
messed it
say
up.
it before
Sorry.
I could prove I knew
I'm
it.
so
I looked it
sorry.
up. I was like, the Lore Keeper's in. I keep wanting to say Katie, Lore the Keeper's in, I think. I don't know. I'm just a fool. But anyways, we'll let them talk now. Bye.
Very good.
You had to look
Hey.
it up.
Oh, whoa.
You
Hey,
had to
yo.
look it up.
We had to look it up.
Anyway,
Hey,
okay.
that's
I'll
crazy.
just-
Luke can be so painfully rude sometimes, and he just
know,
doesn't
that's why-
even know it.
On Monday,
Okay.
you said like, "Oh, that was out of pocket." That was revenge. And I said,
Okay.
"Oh."
Okay. You
Well,
did put him in a corner that last time with your last introduction. But Katie, hey, we got ICL on a Wednesday, and I'm so happy to be here with you again. When I saw our names collaborating on the rotation there, I got a little excited because I get to hang out with the homie Katie, the homegirl Katie, locked in and engaged on a Wednesday. ICL action. We have Maelstrom versus the select few. The unstoppable force meets the unmovable object. Who will bend? Who will break? What do you think, Katie? What do you think about it?
I mean, okay. So I did say I thought it was going to be 2-1. So they got to keep it together if they want me to be right, because I mean that was. I mean, when you gamble, sometimes you lose, and that's why gambling. Mulan, Oswald, get him out of here. Mufasa, get out. Too stressful. But it's a whole new round. What are you thinking? How do you think the tides are going to go here?
I don't know. It depends on what's happening here. I did tune into that previous match that we just watched, and it was a little bit disheartening for Humble. Shout out to Humble. Big Humble fan, big Mufasa fan. The Ruby Sapphire kind of did its thing. I thought that deck was dead. Apparently it's not. But it all is going to come down to what the select few bring in this round. We got Rip Lungs. Create is out here. I know he's a Sapphire Steel enjoyer. If he shows up playing Sapphire Steel in this matchup, he's going to have his hands absolutely full against the Benny Ball, Harka. Okay. However, Bannable has been playing a lot of Ruby Sapphire these past couple weeks, and that deck has been banned. So is Benny Ball going to go back to the back? What do you think Ben Ball is going to do there to combat what Rip Lungs might be doing?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like ever since Hiram has gone to the Great Illuminary in the sky, all bets are off. I mean, it's everybody can kind of do what they want to do. Some people are staying loyal. Some people are getting weird and saying anything can happen. So I can't pretend like I don't know what he's playing.
Okay.
But I will say,
You can fake it. You can fake it. Like
yeah,
pretend like
what?
I like that. I like that.
Well,
That's a nice reaction.
there is the first battle is the naming of the decks, and one of them is Hannah Montana season 2, which is
Oh, that's a spoiler.
Is it?
That's a spoiler.
How is it a spoiler? Okay,
I know.
well,
I got some inside information. Okay, we got a little bit of time. We're waiting on some players to get their information. The game has not started yet, so you guys are not missing any action. But I have some inside information on this Hannah Montana situation. I am a big fan of Rip Longs. He did come by my channel and he did give me an interview. Very interesting fellow.
Did he sing?
He did not sing. He can sing a little bit.
I was about to, and
he didn't sing. Okay.
I got my
and fun fact. Okay, this is a fun fact. You might not believe him. You can ask him in the interview if you don't believe me. I came up with the name of that deck. Okay.
Well, okay. Here's a better thing. The other deck is named Bannable ICL.
I mean, that's not as cool.
Yeah. So I just okay, fine. I won't like. Apparently, everyone's like. Actually, there's a lot of Hannah Montana fans in the stands right now. Season 2 was the Pent Ultimate. I don't know. There's probably more than 3 seasons. Who knows?
Were you a Hannah Montana fan at all? Did you?
I think I was solidly in possibly college when Hannah Montana was happening. So I don't think that would have been.
You're not that old. Okay.
Okay. When did Hannah Montana premiere? Hannah Montana.
You're not older than Miley Cyrus, and that's a fact.
Oh, well, Miley Cyrus, she's eternal. Hannah Montana premiered in 2006 and 2011. So it did occur. I graduated high school in 2007. So
there you go.
So we were contemporaries, if anything. Me and Miss Hannah.
Something like that.
But you never saw us at the same place at the same time. So maybe I was Hannah Montana.
And that's the thing about Hannah Montana for the people who may not know. If you did not watch Hannah Montana, that's all she did. She just simply placed a wig upon her head and became a different person. And that was
that's all it takes. You should try it. Put on the Hannah Montana wig, and I'll be like, "Who the heck is that?
What? She didn't. I mean, she didn't change her voice. She didn't change her gait. She didn't change her smile, her lingo, or any of that. She just simply donned a wig and became a different person. No glasses, even. It wasn't even like a Clark Kent level.
No,
a level event there.
Like, who could that be? I don't know.
It was quite insane. But I think the game is about to get underway, Katie. And if we're locked in and engaged, I am ready to get this thing started.
I've been locked in this whole time. I've been holding a squat whenever I'm on his channel. I don't want anybody to say, "Hey, you have to do a squat." So I start a squat and then I hold it the whole match. Is that what you're doing? I'm
actually not sitting down. I am just I don't have a chair. There's no chair behind me. There I can I'm standing up right now. I am not
to be fair, my husband is like, how does he sit up so straight? And that was something he needed me to sort out. He also asked if you were sponsored by Diet Dr. Pepper, and I said he just sits up straight and he's not sponsored. I got this. If I can get the Spendy sponsorship and I can get the Diet Dr. Pepper sponsorship, we might be on our way. Honestly, that's the dream, right?
That's the dream.
Give me that.
Hey guys, when you're in ICL and you want to get a nice drink on, check out Spindrift for all of your electrolyte and watery needs. I don't know.
Do you like it when your fuzzy beverage tastes kind of like it thought about fruit? You'll love Spindrift.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But yeah, we're going into game 2. I am excited. I love a plot. So honestly, I do need Maelstrom to win this. I'll say it. And it's not because of anything about who they are, the players. Have I casted with Bannable? Do I personally like him? Yeah. But I need him to win because then we have a plot going. Then we got a story. So here's hoping that this turns into
I love a good game 3, but I don't want to root against any player.
I'm not rooting. Yeah, I'm just rooting
but I'm definitely rooting for a game 3. But if it's a game 2, it is what it is. I know that both of these players are going to come out there and give it their absolute best. As Benny Ball has his face in the small lower corner.
I can't ignore that at all. I'm over the moon about what I see right now.
It's actually that should be mandatory if we can get that set up. Yeah. I know it'll be quite difficult for everyone to do that, but
no, it just makes it seem OBS. It's easy.
It makes it seem a bit more authentic. I like a little face cam there.
And we can see
Danny Ball is, and it's so small.
Happy. It's Banna small. That was over.
So
he broke
good.
it.
That's
all right,
so
it was too
good.
powerful.
Katie, that's so good. Did we lose it?
Yep, Banna small was too small. The judge said, "Okay, no, he's back."
Okay. He's back. I like it. I'm looking at I'm in the dojo right now as we have purple on purple, great aesthetic, even though that is like a villain type energy to me.
It is.
Well, we also have a blue on green hue there coming in from Rip Long's point of view. So Rip Longs is on Hannah Montana season 2. So that indicates that he's playing some Sapphire and Steel, trying to keep that deck alive. In this economy, I think not.
We'll have to wait till game 2. We don't want to miss the action. And it's probably an hour-long story, but I do need to know, what about season 2? I assumed it was
Okay.
the best of both worlds.
It
But
was.
but what about season 2? I don't know.
No, it's that last set was season 1. And this set is season 2. This
How
is the second
fun. It was a
rendition
short
of that
story.
set. I mean,
I
that's
love
it. That's
it.
it. That's it. But as we're going to start this thing off, it looks like we're trying to figure out what we're going to ink here. While we're doing that, Rip Lungs is also notoriously famous for going to the last chance qualifier on a whim, getting snowed out, almost not making it, and then going on over to win the tournament. Win the last chance qualifier, make it to the national tournament, taking a risk, betting on himself, and paying off big. I love those kind of stories.
Yeah.
And Bannaball there was one of the hottest players in Lorcana there for a while, going back-to-back top 8 performances out in the world-class card event. That I think we were there for that, Katie.
We were, but I like how you're like, once upon a time. That was quite literally 3 weeks ago. But I
Hey,
mean,
That's
years
all. It might as well be 15 years, Katie. Come on now.
once a time. He was pretty good 3 weeks ago. I will say he does win the best lighting. He has the most crispy, beautiful, natural lighting. I think he's on the East Coast. It's nighttime, but it
Yeah.
looks like it is the most beautiful time of the day. But we got a double Diablo. We got Diablo into Diablo. It's a secret what this man happens to be playing, but not for Rip Lungs Create over here. Rip
I
Lungs,
like
are we
that.
calling him Create? Rip Lungs, Mr. Lungs?
I just call him Rip.
Rip. All right. So
Just a
Rip
Rip.
just
Just a
had to
little Rip
show
Lung.
everything.
It's Rip Lungs. Create is the Rip Lungs. It's old school is Create. The new school is Rip Lung. I just call him Rip and take a dip, dude. As we are going to rip the Mulan and kick out the whole new world and pass back on over into the face of this Diablo. I do like Bannaball's setup there. Like you said, it's very professional, very clean. He almost looks like a hand model a little bit. With those
It's
digits.
just only the crispiest for him, and I love that.
Mhm.
But he's doing what people seem to do in this matchup, and he says, "I'm going to play Diablo. I'm going to get rid of a boom. I'm going in the Cove." It's really it's the 3 things, top
Yeah.
3 things people hate about that deck is these 3.
So we did reveal our second color pattern, and it is that green steel, emerald steel. It could have been that emerald amethyst, but it is emerald steel. And typically, traditionally, the sapphire steel strategy had a pretty decent emerald steel matchup. But now that it's been absolutely nerfed into obscurity, I don't know anymore. As Bannaball did burn a lot of resources to set this play up, but this is probably one of the stronger plays we have in the entire game. Diablo in the Cove.
Yeah, it's 2 pretty best friends is Diablo and the Cove. And we're definitely seeing that this is obviously still blue steel. So we see the common tricks, we got vision where we're digging for some nice answers, because obviously having 2 whole new worlds is what we might call 1 too many whole new worlds in your opening hand. In fact, possibly 2 too many whole new worlds in your opening hand. So he is trying to massage his hand into a little bit better here. He already it looks like he did get rid of 1 whole new world with that Mulan, and is now digging for some better options as he moves forward in this game.
And Bannaball is a tactician, so he understands that whole new world is there. But Diablo resting in the Cove with a whole new world looming, you can draw up to 14 cards in that situation, and that's never going to be something that Rip Lungs wants to see. But he also has Ursula 2 at his disposal, so maybe you can calculate, maybe get a Pete chain into an Ursula 2, rip that whole new world right before your opponent wants to sing it. I don't know if there is a shift Mulan available in this color group that I think is playable. But we'll see how it goes for Rip if he can get that thing to go off.
Yeah, and I noticed there's something that he inked a Simba, and I'm always so curious because there's 40,000 Simbas, and I know approximately 0 of them. So I'm wondering if we were going to see that card again. That's always something so interesting. When you see something inked, you're like, no, don't ink it. I want to see what that does.
Oh, which Simba? The big one? The big body Simba?
I have it here on the screen. So it's when you play this character, and whenever he's banished, another character. Yeah, it's tough to read. I'll get it.
Okay.
Something cool's going to happen, but it might not because it's in the inkwell.
Oh, I'm not looking at the stream, but I guess I can pull the stream up and check it out, because shout out to the
do
little
it. I
card
can do
reader.
it.
As we are elevating the program ever so slightly, each round of the ICL, something new is being added to enhance the viewing pleasure. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Make sure you hit that like button and smash the subscribe for the ICL so you don't miss out on any type of ICL action in the future. We will be back on here on a Friday if you want to see more ICL action. Turn on your notification bells. Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked. I'm sorry. Pete is out.
Get excited, because if you're not excited, you get kicked out. It's actually, we have somebody in the chat that can actually tell how excited you are. And if you're not, we're coming for you. But speaking of excited, too much excitement for poor Rip over here, who says, chill out, dude, and plays that Pete. Because if you see a Prince John, you know something annoying is probably nearby. A discard engine is starting a little bit.
That is very true. Prince John, another one of the most annoying cards. Maybe that's why people don't like Green Steel, because it is just they play the most annoying cards in the whole game. They play Ursula. They play Ursula 3. They play Prince John. They play Diablo. All those cards are insanely annoying. They also play Pete, which is a very annoying card. Hitting Cove is a very annoying card. Literally every card in the deck is just 10 out of 10 annoying. It's just a bummer.com deck. And so going to Pleak Dog Nasty, the Peterino. I hate that maneuver, but sometimes you do what you got to do. But you put 3 into the Cove and send the Peak down to the Inkwell just to try to set up your whole new world, which you already know what time it is. Ursula is always going to come in on this next play.
Now, notably, Pleak Dog Nasty is Pleakly Scientific Expert. And so he is one that inks when you go ahead. You do have to choose another one of your characters and put it in your inkwell face down and exert it. So he is somebody where there's a price to pay. And that price in this case was unfortunately poor little Pete. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done you like that. But either way, we do see the engine firing up. And I did also, Pleak Dog Nasty's on the screen. I did want to mention that Simba is not the greatest matchup for this card. The Simba does say that you have the ability to draw 2 cards and then choose and discard 2 cards. You don't want to do that with this Diablo and a Prince John on the board. That sounds like a bad idea.
Okay. Sorry about that.
We're
I'm back,
back.
Katie. I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready for
I didn't warn
Katie
you.
to say Pleak Dog Nasty. I was not prepared. As he's up, though. He's up. And he's doing his thing. And he tanked that storm, though. That's pretty chill.
He took it and said, I fear nothing. I literally took down my comrade. I can take a
He's
little
moving to 2, and it's the Ursula every single time and just play. Oh, but we got rid of the whole new world. I don't know where the whole new world went.
But, yeah, he definitely got rid of one with the Mulan, and then
he ditched it. That was a heads up play from I think we played the Hypnotize first. Hypnotize, I think he kicked the whole new world there.
Yeah.
And that's where it went to play around this play. I like that move a lot from Riplon. I think it showed a lot of discipline there. Some people would have gambled, hung on to that whole new world and got eviscerated by Ursula. So that was a pretty heads up forward thought from Rip, who is going to keep this Pleak around, who can then clear this hidden Cove if he felt so inclined. But that Diablo is just getting loose and active right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I do see someone in the chat being like, hey, let's do some grab your sword, which is crazy for a couple things. It's crazy that we all said we're never playing swords again. We all just kind of burned them in a fire. But then this set, we're like, but what if we bring swords back a little bit? And so it's been very interesting for me to see that card slowly make its way back in the meta. Notably, with that Cove gone, suddenly it becomes a lot more tempting with all these little weenie guys on the other side of the board, on Vanable's side.
And that is a great point about the Grab Your Sword. And also he has this established Cogsworth who's up and active. That is another pretty strong card in this matchup. He will give resist 1 to all of the characters on Riplong's side of the board, keeping that Pleakley around. And if you can't exert now, because Pleakley can tank everything on your side of the field except for that evasive Diablo. So this is pretty good. But we got the freaking we'll have to pick the vision. Look at that. So keeping an action in hand, we're gonna draw with this Prince John. So that could have been devastating had it been 2 characters there.
Yeah, and Vanable notably is working on really putting the pain here. He's saying, listen, I'm not afraid of you if you have no cards. And that is valid.
Yeah. And that would have been a really nice Robin Hood had you could have got that Robin Hood up on board. That would have been a good way to check this Diablo and basically check this entire board and start to quest freely. But Banny Ball still does not have the ability to exert freely as the Pleakley can. Pleakley's looking kind of strong here. I played Pleakley the other day and he was bricking immensely on my hand as it is what it is. As we're going to just go ahead and ink the Mulan instead of play the Mulan. You are in top deck mode, I believe.
Yeah, and knowing that there are a few, we saw that Simba come down earlier, that if that is his goal, one Mulan's not going to win the game, but having that ink now and knowing that you can discard at any moment, it's just nice. It's nice to get in an inkwell, keep it safe, especially because Vanable has a pretty mean board over there.
And you also do open up cards. You have Hades the Infernal Schemer, like that Simba that you mentioned, can also come down and help turn the tides of this. I mean, this game is looking very favorable for Banable right now. However, I mean, in a moment's notice, you still got Grab Your Swords, which is alive and well. You have a singer set up to sing it. if you can find one of those cards off the top of your deck, or maybe another vision into a whole new world, even, I think you'll take it, as we're going to go double dip the chip on the second installment of Diablo. And this game is kind of losing its way for Rip Lungs here.
Yeah, the Diablo plus Pete combo is kind of, it's not rude. Nothing's rude in a game like this, but now, did he just play Pete? Yeah, okay, he did. So he's like, I'm going to fire the cannons, and they say, take it back. Or did they make it resolve?
No, I think you take it back. You can't play any action when Pete's on the board, so I think you have to put it back into your hand until the next.
Got it. Okay, so he'd go ahead and catch it himself. So it's not like it went to the discard. I was interested in seeing if they're like, it goes to the discard. How dare you make such a mistake? But it did go to his hand. But this is looking rough.
Yeah, this goose just might be cooked there, as it seems like we're getting into Scoop Central, as we're going to go double dip the chip on a Prince John as well. So we're double dipping Diablo gang, we're double dipping Prince John gang, and we got the Lucifer just sitting over there menacingly, and we'll bring out the Ursula, Deceiver of All. This thing just might be cooked. You need a Tink grab here, and you're back.
Yeah, and now it's just, when you're in top deck mode, it's kind of that duality of, it's going to be like not the most exciting card in the world. And while he's here, he's like, I might as well take out Pleakley, which just seems kind of salt in the wound there. I'll bet you did point out Scoop Central is actually located in Scoop City.
Fun fact. I did not know that.
Principality. It's actually, it hasn't been incorporated.
I did not know that. Dang. Scoop Central. I did not know that. I'm glad I learned that. I was not familiar with the geography of Scoopville. I know Scoopville. I know a couple guys from Scoopville.
The Scoop City.
I know it's right next to Scoop City, down on Wrap It Up Boulevard, as we are going to go ahead and pack this thing up and go and jam it right on into a game number 2. Katie, that went about as well for Bannable as he could have ever
Look at that face.
imagined.
This is why we can't have the cam, because if I had to see that, I'm tilted to the moon. If I had to see a little happy,
I would kind of concur.
Okay, Rip made a joke apparently, so we found out that he wasn't just giggling to himself evilly; they were having a good time.
I love the face cam aspect of this thing, Katie.
Yeah.
I think that's a sustain.
I do like to think though that no, Rip didn't make a joke. Rip is sitting there quietly, and Banable's doing the perfect. But no. You don't play this deck because you want to make lots of friends. You play this deck because you like winning. It's not infallible. I will point out this is a deck that if you do get it right, he did literally everything that you would want to see. But there are times where it looks silly. You have a Prince John sitting by himself, and he's like, "I literally am too afraid to turn sideways. I need help."
I like that. I like that a little bit. When this deck is struggling, that does make me happy, because it is just because I've been on the other side of that so many times when I'm just sitting there just getting my ears stomped together, and I got this deck, it's ripping on my cards, or drawing all these cards. It just feels miserable. So when they are struggling mightily, I take a little joy in that,
Yeah. And the engine, you have to get it. It's not, I don't know, what is the Yu-Gi-Oh people? They're like, it's an Exodia. It's not, I mean, it's just, you got to have the engine fired up. And if we look at the deck that Mr. Lungs has built, there are some countermeasures that he just didn't get a chance to do. The Pete was really well timed. He didn't get to play that Robin Hood, which has been very fun for a Diablo and for some card draw. He didn't get to do a Grab Your Sword. So there's basically so many things he didn't get to do because he was constantly losing everything near and dear to him as he discarded them away.
And that's the game. It's a game of inches. And I am deeply offended by the term Yu-Gi-Oh people. All right. We need
Yu-Gi-Oh people. The people of Yu-Gi-Oh.
We need to clean up.
The Yu-Gi-ans.
The Yu-Gi-ites, dude. The Yuganites, dude. I don't like the term. Oh no, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
People first language. People that play Yu-Gi-Oh, not Yu-Gi-Oh people. There we go. But yeah, it's not a true combo, but you do need all the parts. Otherwise, drawing cards is nice, but yeah, it's more painful if they also have no cards. So we'll see. I do. There are some cards that we didn't get to see on Bannable's side too. He has other more terrible and painful things up his sleeve, but nothing too surprising. I think Green Steel, Emerald Steel is a deck that we've all seen because we've all suffered underneath it. So we're all pretty familiar with it.
And this deck honestly is one of those decks that the better of a player you are, the better this deck becomes. If someone, and I've seen this my own self, and I'm sure you and a lot of other people in the chat may have seen this. If you see someone who's cheeks playing this deck, they will get clapped, and it won't even be close because they will be fumbling the bag all over the place, and it just won't look the same. But Bannable is he's a craftsman, man. He's an expert, and he knows what's going on, so it just makes it that much better, I think.
Yes, and that is a PSA on don't just net deck. A deck isn't good by itself. There are a few decks that, yeah, you can probably be pretty okay if you're just pretty. But like this is one where, yeah, especially the one you played, Amber Emeralds, as a discard deck where you got to be just in there. Every turn matters, every order. So it's not a relaxing game, although they are having fun, as you could see by Banival's little happy smile.
Yeah.
Based on a joke, but he was already in a good mood.
I would almost prefer that his face picture was bigger than the mat, and the mat was like the size of his face.
Yes,
we
that's
get
what's
more face and less mat, and just kind of figure it out. There you go.
But yes, I did go ahead and I scrolled in on this Simba card, and I think it is very funny because if in theory he had a exerted Diablo and a Prince John, if you draw two cards, if you draw two cards and then discard two cards, then they get to draw 4 cards.
That's right.
Disgusting. So hopefully he doesn't do that. You have an option. You can also deal 2 damage to a chosen character.
Yeah, I'm thinking against this deck, Katie. In that situation, if you activate that effect, because you can choose, you don't have to pick. You can pick which one you want. You're just a wild card. You're just a loose cannon living on the edge there. If that's something that you want to do, as we are going to go ahead and Diablo the focus right on out of the camera there.
Yeah, that's always, you got to trick the camera and be like, care. Or he's just, I like to think also, he's like, this is my favorite card. It's Little Diablo. And I love this card because it starts the game on such a terrible tone that you just started playing and they're like, show me your hand. You're like, all right, I'm already annoyed. We just started playing and I just feel bad. And that's a personal thing.
And there's another conversation to be had. A lot of people are talking about banning big Diablo. And there's another conversation saying, ban this guy, get him out of here. Because without this guy, the big Diablo isn't as bad. And that will also relegate Diablo into an amethyst colorway, which isn't the worst. I think that'll be a little bit better.
It is a little bit more of a gentle colorway. But we're going to go ahead. We see a little baby Simba, which you love to see it. It helps kind of filter out your hand. I don't see any shift Simba's in the deck, so he truly is there just to be a cute little guy and help get your hand better. But it is hard. 1-drops in the steel color are not the easiest. You put in what you got and you're happy with it.
For sure. And also you can quest this Simba and then play the Pleek Dog Nasty, as he's commonly known these days, and then get him right into the inkwell there and just ramp yourself and elevate your game, accelerate a little bit, because let's face it, once he does his elude ability and then exerts, he's basically worthless at that point. So let's get him on into the inkwell and let's keep this bad boy moving on along, as Diablo has been shifted yet again, kicking the boom. And let's see if Rip has an answer for it. Fire the Cannons will be great here.
Yeah, and it puts him in a position because even if Rip finds some kind of fire the cannon of his own, he's like, okay, well, you're both very annoying. I'll say that right now. He does go ahead and...
We're clearing the Simba. Okay, Diablo enters into tank mode.
Yeah, he's like, you will not pleek this man, and we'll play grandma and try to get better stuff.
Let's see if you can find an answer to this Diablo, because when Diablo gets cleared relatively quickly, you're okay. It's not as bad because you paid this heavy cost to shift it in. Even if you can clear it after 1 draw or 2 draws, it's still not as bad. But when Diablo can go for 4, 5, 6, and then starts to throw your plays off, it just, I don't know, because you can't play the whole new world. You can't play other cards that allow you to draw, and it just really slows down your game plan. I just think that's when it spirals, and I think it's kind of starting to spiral right here.
Yeah, I mean, we had a debate on Monday after the ICL of like, well, there's so many answers, and somebody said, well, what if you don't get those answers? And it's like, well, this is what happens. You're looking at it and he's about to look for some of those answers. And the good news is he said, I would never keep a song around you because you keep looking at my stuff.
There you go. And you do have an answer there in the evasive Robin Hood. It's going to take you a little time to get to it. I think your next turn, you're going to try to get one of these cog boys up, and then you can get our Robin Hood down on turn 6. So you have a few turns away. Diablo is going to get significantly more draws in that process, exactly 2. Okay, unless you do something dramatic between now and then. But I don't know, man.
Yeah.
At least you got something. At least there's that.
There's hope. And we do know that these kind of discard decks can stall out. If Rip is able to get to a position where he's got some big old cards out there that are harder to get rid of, and Diablo by himself isn't super scary, being just a 2/2, and you're not going to use it to challenge unless you really hate Simba specifically. So we'll go ahead and get a Cogsworth, which is a good place to start. It's going to make his characters a little stronger, but it does put him in a position where he generally doesn't want to turn it sideways. But right now, well, that morph could be anything. So
For sure.
Never mind. Stay up, Clock. You can stay vigilant because morph is a problem.
And also another thing that I like to point out about this Emerald Steel deck is that they might have a ton of cards in hand, but some of their card quality, as you mentioned earlier in game number 1, it's kind of bad. Like when you're established and they start drawing these sudden shields when you already don't have a hand, you got the hypnotize when you already don't have a hand, you start drawing more Diablos in bunches when you can't put them in, and it's not the worst thing. Oh, never mind. We got sudden shield here with the Prince John. You hate that if you are Rip.
Yeah, and he picked that over the Cogsworth, I believe. Well, he has 2 cards, so
No, he inked one of the Cogsworth, so the one in hand might be
Okay.
something juicy as we kick the Robin Hood out. I like that Robin Hood though.
I do too, but that means he's got something even better. And man, I hope it is the most grabbing of swords you could ever have, but we shall see.
We know there's a Pete coming in on this next turn for sure, because I think he kept the Pete, inked the clock, and we got Pete and one other card. So if this is that grab, as we'll show, it's the Symbologist. We kept the Simba over the Robin Hood. Robin Hood
All right.
still, but we know that you're gonna have to draw some ink off the top of the deck. You're gonna have to ink something and then play the Pete, and then you can pretty much guarantee the Robin Hood is going to land. So that is pretty cool, as we're going to go ahead and exert the Grandma Tala preemptively. I think she's questing either way, and you are fine with that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He exerted all his ink, but I just think he didn't ready it. So either way, he played that Pete and then said, "My other card's so good," which would be scary because whatever that card is, I'm like, I don't know if you're going to get to keep it, but
No, he's got that Pete. Yeah, you're keeping that Simba. So
oh,
Simba in hand. He played Pete,
oh, he
so
had
you're
Simba.
definitely.
Oh, got
But
it.
you're gonna get cooked if you don't draw ink off the top of your deck on this next one, or if it's not a really, really cool song or something. Grab Your Swords is still alive and well. You need to get to it.
Well, you need to get to it, then wait, and then
Oh, never mind.
hope you're right. Hope you're right with the world, and everything will work out.
Dang. So Pete
Now-
comes in and deflects the Grab Your Sword play. You will finally get rid of this Diablo here on your next turn. If you could draw some ink. If you don't draw ink here, you might be cooked. Let's see it. And immediately go ahead and jams that Mulan right on into the ink. I'm looking at the wrong image now. I see. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
so somebody did mention, what does this Robin Hood do? So he gains evasive on your turn, which is pretty cool. And then also his other cool ability. This is a set 1 card that we all kind of just put away. And we're like, I'll think about it later. So you get evasive. And then also, if your opponent has more cards in their hands than you, spoiler alert, Vanderbilt works hard on that. You get to draw a card. So I believe he would have been able to draw a card off of that, or did he already ink it? Or no, maybe he doesn't have more.
He kicked the Robin Hood is gone. He brings out the Simba now. So the Simba's out.
Oh,
and
my
he uses
goodness.
Simba's second ability to. I was looking at the wrong feed as well, but we're back. We're back and better than
Yeah,
ever.
listen, I'm thinking about every card all at once. It's a
No,
lot.
you're good. We're good. We're in here. We're in here. We're so back. And this Simba is actually a problem unless he's got
Yes.
Bruno. 5 cost, please. He's about to exert 5 ink. I know
Don't
Rip
do
doesn't
it.
want to see it. Don't do it. If you're Rip's like, please let me get something from this guy, because if you exert that 5 ink and send the Bruno here, this might be a game ender, and there's 5, and we're not going to talk about. No, it's
Nope.
Beast.
We'll talk about the Beast. We can talk about him. I'm not afraid of that personally. And the cool thing is the Simba, he has a second, like it's when you play him, and then if he also banishes somebody else. And noticeably,
Correct.
there's a lot of characters on Bannable side that are delicious for lions. So
Absolutely, and that honestly will just give you like a freeze the board like ability, and it'll stop your opponent from being able to engage with the Simba at all. You can't exert. You are going to quest this thing, so he's going to have to send his entire forces into the Simba, even if you can't, because he's got that resist from Cogsworth. So you're feeling pretty good. If Bruno doesn't
exerting
come
is
down
dry.
here,
I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I'm like, what happened? What happened? But yeah, okay. So he did go and pay for that Power the Cans. That wasn't a discard, correct?
that was he played the fire to cannons.
Okay,
He
got it.
removed the
Perfect. Okay.
yeah, he removed the morph, the space goo.
So
And we got rid of the space goo, and we play another Pete. So you're still going to be stunned for another turn. You're not going to be able to exert unless you're trading in. And you got this water characters up as well. So this is looking okay adjacent for Rip Lungs now, who's stabilized, but you have no cards in hand. As going to keep
Oh.
raining down Pete's.
did you do 2 Pete's on this one turn?
I believe so. I think we're just slamming all the Pete's, probably trying to set up a really strong Strength of Raging Fire, I would assume, as you are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh.
6. That is 1, 2. Storm will do 1.
Oh wow. So yeah, he's like, I really, really don't like that Simba guy.
And
And
then we
then
got
yeah,
strength. We'll do strength will do
a total of 6.
a total of 6.
7. I can't count, and it's scary. It's scary to admit that.
Yeah, we got 7, and Simba goes down. So that took a lot of resources to clear that Simba.
And that
Oh.
Simba, I'm pulling up again because listen, where are you getting these cards, guys? You can't play
He's got
cards.
5/7. You don't know Simba?
You don't know Simba.
You don't know Simba? I know that
I
Simba. We
know.
call him Himba in the streets back in the day.
Yeah.
That was his code name. Name Himba.
So yeah, he did. I heard someone say resist. I don't see that he has resist.
No,
So I'm not sure.
Cogsworth has resist.
Oh, right. Cogsworth gave him resist. So there we
That's
go.
right.
There's a math. So he had to do both because he had to chip away, which feels bad because that's a lot of resources to use just for one lion. But it makes sense because that lion kind of has a built-in action that
He's got a tanky 7 over there. As we're just losing our feed, it's getting a little reconnection though. Shout out to Elio in the dojo holding it down, PC or as the judge, and Bannable Harker's internet connection or Riplong's internet connection for hooking it up.
Yeah, and
Ellie and Kevin. That's right. Shout out to the judges, man. Shout out
know.
to Ellie. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to everyone at home watching for participating and being a part of the ICCL. As we're going to take a quick sale, we are in Top Deck Central. You need to get to. Do you play Grab Your Swords? I haven't seen it yet.
No, and it's hard because I mean,
we got Pete. We got double Pete. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Yeah, to grab your swords and then just sit with them, I guess, is really your only thing. So he's making what I would consider really rough choices because ultimately he's looking at this very wide board. He's looking at a beast, which is one of the characters he is afraid of because it's going to ramp up Bannible's hand. It's bad. That move that he did where he was able to get rid of Simba in one turn without any challenging was pretty much, I don't want to say a momentum killer because he could come back, but I mean, it's going to be hard to come back from this.
Okay, so I think they're just repairing the game state a little bit. I think that draw was a little too rapid as they sell the Ezraite Sea and you drew it before.
Yeah, with the sale, he was not able to draw a card. So he did go ahead and put the card back and then just ink the sale, right?
I think you just go ahead and clear this Prince John here, I would say, just to get that nuisance off the board. He is a bit of a quester, and we were going to put 3 into the beast to break up that draw. I don't hate that either. And also, you set up this really robust grab your swords type beat. If you can pull that off, as Bannable is electing probably to run this race, as you have triple Pete can't lose with a really bulky beast up. So let's see how we're going to break this thing down as your hand is looking quite good. Riplungs is coming off the top of the deck, it appears. And this is where the tides can turn as we will suddenly chill. No cards are in hand as Bannable will lose the sudden chill. I don't even think he's going to. No take backsies over here. Just wanted to flex a little bit. You have no cards. I want no cards.
So it was a menacing. He thought he had a card in hand and did it, even if you do, I'm just going to double, triple check. Do you have a card? Get rid of it.
Just to make sure, just let you know, as we're going to bring out the hidden cove, as we're sending all of the units please put that third Pete in the cove. Please. Oh, no. Please put the third Pete. He's feeling so alone. He's lonely.
I mean, he knows what he did. You can't have a 3-Pete. You can have a repeat,
but
a repeat,
he's so alone.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's so lonely not being in the cove with all of his friends, man. And you're going to leave him out there like that in the cold. I hate that.
It could have been cool. He could have had an ink, but unfortunately he sudden chilled and said, Pete, not only can you not go in the cove, but it's cold out here.
Yeah, so this is looking rough ride for Rip, who is going to scoop Central destination unknown as you tried to bring the Sapphire Steel and ran into an anvil right there as Bannable Harka wins.
Yeah, and as we go over, I mean, is Bannable always a player of this deck, or is this? I guess we can ask in the interview, but I don't want to ask him like, "Hey, are you always on this deck?" And he goes, "You don't know."
Kind of hard seeing double.
But we'll see. We'll get in there.
Shipline.
Yeah,
great.
I'll share with you now.
Greetings.
Yo.
How's it going, Bannable? Congratulations on your win. Riplong, congratulations on playing and trying to bring Sapphire Steel back. But we're going to start with Bannable Harka on the dub. You're going back to Emerald Steel. I understand that's a deck that you have played very well. Shout out to Color. She says people like to go home in uncertain times. Is that your thought? What makes you go back to Green Steel in this anti-Hiram meta?
Well, let me set the record straight. I play everything, so it's
okay.
I have played Green Steel, but
I played it in Seattle. Built Luke's deck that he won with, by the way. I will just throw that out there for.
So basically, you won.
Basically, I won.
Truth.
It
It's a
didn't
team effort.
quite feel like I won, but
Because I mean, technically, you also didn't, but it feels like you won.
Yeah, I think that after the ban, I'd been playing Ruby Sapphire, doing well with it this set, but I figure the next strongest thing you can play is Diablo. Now, obviously, there's a lot of Diablo hate out there right now. People are trying really, really hard not to lose to Diablo, but turns out it's still very good and will just win games sometimes. So
Absolutely, especially when there are no viable answers for it. And we saw the deck and it was moving. We thought you played it very well. Can you just talk about running into Sapphire Steel? What were your thoughts when you saw that those colors were coming your way? Were you a little afraid, or were you confident that you can get the dub now that deck has been severely nerfed?
Well, as soon as I saw I was playing its Rip, I figured I was probably playing Sapphire Steel. I was happy to be on the play. I think it's a lot easier to win when I go first. I think I got a little bit lucky in game 2 to win that going second. But yeah, I mean, I was definitely worried, especially once I realized he'd fire the cannons. That makes it even harder because it's often easy to cheese out a win with Diablo.
I'm hearing some sound. Can you guys hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear that on the stream. I'm so sorry.
Hear any sounds, but
okay. Sorry about that, Bannable. Sorry about that, Katie. I'm sure you got some questions as well. Sorry about that.
No. Yeah. I don't know. I was a little scared, but it worked out. So it's
okay.
Well, I do have a question for you, Mr. Lungs. Is before this game, how did you feel about banning Diablo, and now how do you feel about banning Diablo? Same, different?
I think my deck had has a lot of answers to Diablo. It's more the discard part of it that I kind of takes a little bit fun out of the match, just because like there's not really a way to interact with that outside of Pete. But by then the opponent's already established a pretty good board. So I'm now not really in favor of banning Diablo. I think Diablo is fine, just because like in this game particularly, I got rid of Diablo and I had a pretty good board. But I think just the discarding part of it, like Sudden Chill, I think that card or Prince John should definitely get hit. At least I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know JD, you interviewed about this deck. So is there anything that you kind of have questions about as far as why he went with the cards he did, or anything along those lines?
I do. Rip, yo, it's good to hear from you again. It's good to see you again. I'm glad to see you're back out here. But what are we talking about with Sapphire Steel? Are you gonna stick with it? I mean, is it time to just let it go? I mean, because it might just be cooked, or are you having great success with it in other matchups?
Yeah, I think in Steel matchups in general, it's pretty favored, pretty 50-50. I think the Ruby matchups, as far as like going for your win conditions, has gotten kind of weird. But I think a lot of Sapphire and Steel players are on like locations for your end game like lower win condition. And then against Steel decks, you pretty much have access to Pete, Cogsworth. Some people are playing Tinkerbell. I'm choosing to play Simba. So far in my testing, I think the Sapphire and Steel decks are still, tier 1.5, tier 2, depending on your build. Again, in my testing, I've had pretty good success into Steel decks, and then Ruby, more Ruby Sapphire is a little bit more harder. But I think what Sapphire and Steel has going for it right now is just being able to go Lord of the Ground. Our deck has answers to Steel cards, to Diablo, to other stuff like that. But it's rough without Hiram.
Okay. I'm still a fan of it, man. I'm a fan of you. As you know, I enjoy the pursuit to try to keep this color combination around. I enjoy that people who try to stick with it and make it happen, man. So it didn't work out this time, but are there any changes that you would like to see that you think you would add to this deck to help bolster this matchup a little bit, or help defend yourself against the discard version of the Emerald Steel deck?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on 4 Mulans and then 2 Simbas, 2 Happies, which we didn't get to see it in this match. I think I would just probably go like a 4-4 split, just to have a little bit more evasive hate. But other than that, against like Green Steel specifically, I think my deck was fine. I think that game 2, it was a little bit more in my favor, even though I didn't have a hand. Like once I got that Simba on the board, but unfortunately, he had the 3 cards he needed to get rid of my Simba. But probably just going for like more Diablo hate, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that Simba was rough. It was like, it's happening, and then he said no, and that was rough. I'm sure it was more rough to experience it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But Bannable, back over to you. Can you just talk about that play in particular, and what were your thought process
Oh.
when he had that Simba set up, man? He seemed like he was
Oh.
locking your whole board down with Simba Cogsworth. That seemed like almost insurmountable, but you made this very dynamic, super costly play, double Pete strength into a storm and all that, just to clear that. Can you just talk about that play and how that felt to get that Simba off?
Yeah, so I was actually not worried about it. I already had the strength and the let the storm rage on in hand. I just needed to get enough characters in play. So I just played Beast and waited a turn, but I don't know. I was not actually concerned about it. And then when I played the Let the Storm Rage on, I actually drew the Bruno, so I really had it taken care of. Now, I could have just like Bruno'd it and whatever, but I figured I'd try to clear as much of his board as I could so I could start questing. And it didn't really matter at that point whether I strength the Simba or Bruno the Simba. And yeah, but I don't know. I was actually not worried. I was happy to have him empty-handed, and I knew I had the answers. So
Okay. Get them empty and then quest out. It's like a tight bind, man. That's how that deck works. It's very oppressive, but when it's working, it's working. And like Katie mentioned, sometimes it doesn't work. Can you just talk about that process of when you're not getting the units and how that thing goes?
Yeah, it can not work, and I can say now, Rip, I did not. So game 2, I did not have the Diablo shift. I just drew it the turn, on turn 2.
Dang.
And
that's drawing everything.
That's how it works, right? Your opponent has the good draws.
But obviously, like if I don't shift Diablo turn 2, I don't draw whatever it was, 3 cards before you play the Simba or something. So it just ends up being a very, very different game. And it's. Yeah, live by the sword, die by the sword. Sometimes the deck does nothing if it's slow. I mean, it only has 4 1-drops. The Diablos aren't exactly great if you aren't shifting them, and not a ton of 2-drops either. So you just gotta play for the good draws and try to hold on with like Ursula's and the discard package when you don't.
And weather the storm when you don't get it. But I enjoyed the matchup a lot. I had a good time being here, Katie and I. I'm sure Katie enjoyed herself as well. I don't want to speak for Katie, but I thought it was good. And congratulations. Oh, you had an okay time.
No, yeah, it was fine. No, I had a great time too.
Absolutely. But gentlemen, I know we have another all-important game number 3 that's getting started. And I'm sure you guys want to get back and start cheering on your teammates and seeing who's going to take this thing down. This is a very tight contest as we have Maelstrom and the select few trying to get the dub here. But Bannable, before we let you go, do you want to give some special shout outs before we sign this thing off for round number 3?
Sure. I guess I'll shout out my team. Obviously, Maelstrom, best team in the game, etc. Heavy play for this like sick playmat. I love these playmats with the magnets and stuff too, with the beautiful magnetic dice box. But let's see, my wife for watching my son who was banging on the door halfway through the game, but is now off doing
like
something
a horror
else.
movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, how do you beat up Humble to get that cool playmat? Because I think you guys each take a turn. Is that's something I wondered.
So I think that the guys who were in the CCS 13K or whatever ended up being in Atlanta got them from Matified. So I guess if you want to play mat like that, you could beat up Humble. I wouldn't try that. That seems unlikely to work out for you. And take his, or you could go to the Matified's page. I don't know. I think he maybe is a storefront now. I don't pay much attention to that, but
you got the cooler. I mean, you do have magnets. He does not. Humble does not have a cooler. He might also have that. But
I'm told to drop the magnets. It is cool. Like I don't have my deck box sitting next to me, but yeah, they like lock into place here, so you don't have to worry about things going anywhere. The dice box locks onto the deck box itself.
I have gesticulated wildly with mine. I was trying to see, like, it's pretty strong. So that's shout out to magnets.
Yeah, this is it's a beautiful fidget. It's a fidget toy. Like I sit here at work and I'm just like flipping my deck box out and having it shut magnetically. Anyway, that's enough.
Yeah, magnets. To be fair, JDZ does not famously does not know how magnets work. So we better get on.
I know how they work, Katie. I just think that they are magical.
It's a miracle. You're right.
It's a miracle that people take for granted. It's my take. Okay.
I like it.
But we got Rip. We got Rip from the select
yeah.
few. Rip, you didn't get it done this time. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm a huge fan. Give me some shout outs, man. Let me know where we can find you and what we got to do to get more Rip into the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Bannable, shout out to you. That was an awesome match. Pretty rough. You as well. Can't wait to run it back next time. Shout out to you guys, Katie and JDZ, for casting the game. Shout out to my team, Select Few. Shout out to my teammates, Mark, Justice, and Lorgains. Shout out to my local, The Stronghold Games. all the Maelstrom guys, 20 Lore Pro Discord, all the Sapphire and Steel players. I think there's still hope. I'm glad that I was able to pleek, show some pleeky power.
Let's go.
Yes.
And yeah, just thank you to the ICL for again allowing me the opportunity to play this awesome competitive scene for the Lorcana games.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out
and you
to-
can. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm so excited. I have to hear. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So I was just gonna say you can follow me on all socials at CreateTCG.
Perfect.
Nice.
I love that. And JDZ did say shout out to Pleek Dog Nasty.
Yes.
Pleekster.
Shout out Bleak Dog.
Okay, I'm gonna have to come back to the Pleekster, dude. I don't know, because I tried the Pleekster. I bricked on him twice. I was like, Pleek is never going back on another deck I ever make again. But Rip's built a little different. Okay,
You got the
pull it
sauce,
off.
man.
I can't do it. I'll try it. I'll give it a shot. You're motivating me to play some more Blue Steel. But gentlemen, enjoy it. Get back into the dojo, hop back into the dugout, and cheer on your team.
Thank
and
you.
we're gonna see who's gonna lock this thing up for the all important round number 3. But don't touch that dial. This is must see TV coming your way. We have Zinulus and Lord Gaines for all winner take all matchup.
I don't know. Do I have to say goodbye? Do we have to say goodbye now? Okay, bye. Here comes the 2 new casters of Sasuke and why Breezy?
Sasuke and why Breezy?
He's everywhere. He's gorgeous and he is everywhere. The one, the only JDZ, and the one, the only, the always amazing Katie from as Wonder butchered it, the Keeper's Lore Inn or the Innkeeper.
Keeper's Inn.
We definitely tried with Wonder tried, but the Lore Keeper's Inn post show will be there as well. So stay tuned for that as well. But let's get into the action. 1-1. This all comes down to this. Are we excited?
Oh yeah. Why Breezy? Here's a question for you.
All
Who
right.
do you think is going to take it between these last two, Zenulus or Lord Gaines?
I mean, see, the thing is, it's hard for me to not be biased for the machine that Zenulus is. He's been undefeated in the ICL from even the preseason and the exhibition matches. He hasn't lost a game. I have shared a hotel room with that beautiful man, so it's hard for me to root against him at all times. And like the way he's one of the best players I've ever seen. He's a jack of all trades. He does it all. And if I were to put some casheroony into this matchup, I'm hammering Zenulus train all day, every day. He has the record, that 3-0 record into the first 2 rounds and the exhibition match. He hasn't lost a round, so it ain't gonna stop there. How about you? Who? Where's that money going to it?
Well, honestly, I kind of tend to believe in Zenulus as well. I've gotten to play against him a couple of times right before the CCS 13K. I stayed at Noam Not's apartment, and so did Zenulus. So we got to practice a little bit before the tournament. And, obviously during the tournament, he got top 10. He performed incredibly well, both during the tournament and outside the tournament. So, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I think he's a machine, and you'll be able to take it.
But we cannot sell Lord Gaines short. He is also one of the most consistent, most amazing players. He traveled all the way to Australia without a deck, built a deck, went into the event. So we can't just sit here and just not take anything for like he does it as well. And his muscles, man, let me tell you something. Like I am a little jealous every time I see his beautiful face and his absolute weapons, which are his arms. So he's got it all, and he likes a little Mufasa action too. He's been bringing his Mufasa variants throughout multiple events already. We saw him in the last round bring it as well, so he can do it as well. Like, the challenge is here. 2 amazing players are going to break it down to take the victory in the very, very crucial game into the ICL round 3.
Right. Now, did you get a chance to look at both the deck lists here? I'm actually the one thing I will say is that I'm not sure that Zenulus's deck is favored. I wouldn't say that either deck is particularly favored, but I do think that just having seen both of these players get to play in the past, I do think that Alvin versus Zenulus here, I think that Alvin is definitely the underdog here. But I mean, it's not like an underdog story kind of, where you're like, oh, this dude's a Goliath, and then that's David, right?
Absolutely.
This is a much more realistic underdog, top dog kind of story here, in which I do think that Xenulos, while the top dog, definitely could be upset.
I mean, without spoiling the list too much, we're going to get into it. So as the decks we get to see a little bit more, we'll break it down even more. But this is a little bit of a, travel in a little bit of back in time action. We were kind of going back into our olden days where we saw this on tables everywhere. It's gonna be a fantastic matchup. I do believe you're right. It's a little bit of it's even, but if you had to put a favorite versus a underdog, I think we're in the same situation here. But we are a little biased, so we might just be wrong as well. So we will see as the game kicks off right here, right now. ICL round 3, game 2, match 3.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, we don't get to see either of the players' hands here, which I really, it's kind of a victim of circumstance, right? Because we have to play with the cards. These players can have to be able to see each other's hands here if we do get to do that. But, particularly for Xenulos, obviously he's looking for as many of those 1-drops in his deck list that he's trying to get. And then, same for Lord Gaines here. I do think that, if both of these players are off to the races, depending on who gets to play first, I believe it's Alvin, just because Maelstrom won the previous round. So I'm gonna be a little bit concerned for Xenulos if Alvin does get the cards that he's looking for in these particular 1-drops. I don't want to reveal too much about either deck lists here, just because we're not supposed to. But yeah, I think that considering both of these players' deck lists. If Alvin gets off to the races, it's going to be very difficult for Xenulos to really find footing in this deck or in this game.
Yeah. If the tempo game goes into Alvin's way, Xenulos might have to play a lot of catch up. Might be always on the back foot constantly. But if he finds his outs, if he finds the answers to those problematic situations, those sticky situations, he might just be able to take the late game and just control it out at the end as it goes through. So the game could go either way, but if Alvin does get through fast, furious, he might just take it early on. Going first is going to matter too much. And we saw the alters. Alvin only altered 2 while Xenulos altered 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't take too much stock into that, just considering the type of deck that Xenulos is playing here. I feel like with his style of deck, it's one of those decks where you're just going to constantly be pitching between 3 and 6 cards pretty consistently here, just because you're looking for very, specifically just your 1-drops always, just because, that's how you're going to get your early tempo with that style of deck. And then from there, really just kind of use it to snowball here. But that said, Alvin is exactly off to the races, exactly the cards that I would expect him to be mulliganing for here in that Daisy Duck. So it really is going to be up to Xenulos here to have that 1-drop into the 2-drop and hopefully find.
We get that tourney. And we can kind of break it down here. We got Ruby Amethyst on Xenulos' side going to back old classic. The deck was dead for like a day or two, and it's always back. And Xenulos is bringing to action as he enjoys the beautiful color that is Amethyst.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Ruby Amethyst here, I think, just got pushed out a little bit because Blue Steel and Ruby Sapphire were a little bit too strong. And while Ruby Amethyst did have a favorable matchup into Ruby Sapphire, I feel like Hiram just kind of mitigated a lot of what that deck really got advantage from in that kind of tempo, heavy draw style archetype that Ruby Amethyst is known for, whereas Ruby Sapphire just kind of got to do it all with that Hiram. And so now, here with Alvin, he is still just continuing to develop all of his threats here. I would argue his ideal threats here early on. Daisy Duck, obviously no threat as of yet. Come turn 3, though, Alvin's definitely going to have to start to worry about those Merlin Crabs as well as those Foxes coming down. So we'll have to see how Xenulos plays these next couple turns out here. But not too many early options available. So that's exactly why I was saying that you're not really too concerned about him.
Turn 2 here is
cards.
rough,
Just
though.
wants to get those 1-drops as early as possible. Doesn't find it here. And so now Alvin honestly has a pretty big advantage coming in here into turn 3. Why, Breezy, how do you get out of this situation if you're Xenulus here? What are the cards that you're looking for?
You're looking for those big crabs. You're trying to get rid of that Daisy as early as possible, because if not, you're gonna get way behind. You're trying to find your draw engine to not run out and find your removal early on. You most likely running some brawls, running eventually that B prep if you can make it that far against Alvin here. So the goal is to just not lose out too early, be able to kind of manage the board state, make sure you're not out of the race too much. Hope Daisy gives you that fox that just automatically answers the Daisy as well, so you don't get like 8-0'd by turn 4, turn 3, and just not be able to catch up as we get it. See, that is just what you don't want to see if you're Xenulus. You can't bounce back into a fox, you can't bounce back to anything, you can't crab it into that. So now it's just free Quest City this turn, and that's not where you want to be if you're Xenulus.
Yeah, I mean, that Let the Storm Rage On is a pretty devastating situation to be in here if you are Xenulus. So really, I think the only card that he is going to be looking for here on this turn 3 is the Sisu Emboldened Warrior. He did ink it on turn 1, so we're unsure if he's going to be able to do anything here on turn 3, as well as he already inked that Friends on the Other Side. But he is going to go for the Brawl onto the Daisy, so it's going to relieve a lot of pressure here coming out from Alvin.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to get to a point where if Alvin isn't 2-2 ahead, Xenulus can start taking everything out of the way. We, in Ruby Amethyst, where we were known to run some Elsa's Maui's, and in the more classic ways, we're running the ladies in red and Lady Tremaine and Madame Medusa being really relevant back into the format. But on the other side of the board, we are running some extra spice. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Is that a Chifu I'm staring at?
That is a Chifu that you are staring at. I actually, so back in the day, I think I bought about like 20 of them foil for about 2 to 10 cents each, because I honestly thought that this card had a lot of potential here. I mean, a 3 lore threat with 5 health early on can do a lot of work, and I mean, here we get to see just exactly the value of it, right?
What that's
so now,
gonna do.
Yeah,
another one. Oh my god!
His second one and a third Daisy. This just feels like an absolute blowout here for Alvin. And Xenulus is in a heap of trouble. It's going to take a miracle to get back from this, because this game is not lasting till that pre-prep.
It is not getting nowhere near it. The Chifus are 3 lore 05s at this point, and with 4 ink, if you don't find the demigod himself, that's that. There's not much you can do. There's 2 Daisy. That's 4, 6. We did find the Maui into the Chifu, which is quite nice. You don't take any damage, but like you still have 2, 4.
That's 8 on board.
That's 8 on board. Wait, is it 4, 7? That's exactly 8 on board, and that is gonna be game 1. Wow, it's one of those games where you just blinked and you watched the entire game happen. It's exactly what you said in the beginning, right? We saw Alvin just essentially go off to the races as Xenulus shows us a hand of B prep, 2 Lady Tremaines, and another Maui himself.
Yeah.
So he had late answers, but the game didn't get there. Like if he did see another turn or 2, the game would have looked a lot different if Alvin was only at like 11 or 12. But no, those Chifus are 3 lore gainers at that point. So it's quite insane. What a fast pace. I just buckled in my seat and we just off to the races like a roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, his turns 1 through 3 were, not necessarily calm, but definitely not as accelerated as those Chifus made it out to be, right? I mean, turn 1 Daisy, turn 2 Calhoun into what was his turn 3? Let the Storm Rage On, which was pretty devastating, not to say the least. But I mean, then his turns 4 and 5 were Chifu Daisy, and the game was just cooked. I mean, there was nothing Xenulus could do to that.
It's just one of those games where like there's not much you can do when your opponent finds exactly what he needs to do to end the game in turn 4, and that's exactly what Alvin's deck wanted to do going first here. So this game now he's not going to get to go first, so the game will look a little bit different. Most likely, he might not be able to get there fast, but he is running that Cinderella to be able to stop that 1 drop into the bounces and stuff like that. So there are options that Alvin could get into to make sure he can get the catch up, not going first, and kind of go off to the races later down the road.
Yeah. And so here for Xenulus here again, just those looking at the altars, Xenulus is really just looking for all of the 1 drops that he can find, right? He just wants to be able to slow down Alvin as much as possible here and really just kind of stave off the aggression that that his deck is built around, right? I mean, in those Chifus and those Daisies, those Calhouns, all of those cards need to be slowed down in some capacity. And so that's what those 1-drops allow him to do here. It looks like he's not even altering a single card, which to me means that he's got plenty of early options here. And Alvin here, obviously, just altering, trying to find all of his early drops. But yeah, I mean, Alvin definitely on the back foot, especially on the draw, just based off of the way that his deck is built here. So yeah, I mean, it'll be exciting to see how this matchup turns out here versus play versus draw. But I will say that I feel like Xenios is favored here on the play.
Absolutely, it's gonna matter. The actions into Alvin gets in his hand is gonna matter quite a bit. Seeing that Let the Storm Rage On again might ruin the chances of getting that bounce that he wanted to do last game as well. Like finding a Cinderella into Let the Storm Rage On might be a little problematic. And Xenios here does not find a 1-drop. What does that mean?
Not
a good sign. I don't think so.
That to me tells me that he wants to see whether or not Alvin has a Cinderella. He could potentially have a 1-drop here on turn 2 that he was going to play anyways. But it looks like, yep. Okay, so that is actually the case here. I just wanted to get a little bit of scouting done before making any final decisions, which I kind of do tend to agree with here. So now Alvin obviously getting this Daisy, going to start gaining this lore here early. It's really going to be about this, this Calhoun into more of these Daisies and everything like he did last game here.
Instead of a Calhoun, we're seeing a Mr. Smee here, which is still just fine. The two of the best 2-drops in the game as well. Making sure, we were establishing a board state to make a lot of headaches for Xenios. Not being able to answer the 3/3 and a 1/4 early on is going to be a little bit of annoying. And if Alvin can just turn those cards sideways, get a bunch of lore, Xenios might be out of luck. We saw last game.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, one thing I will have to say here, I think a lot of players would have just quested with the Daisy, said, hey, look, I just want to get this 2 lore off early. And I really like this patient play here from Alvin. He understands that he's just on parity with Xenios. Xenios is doing everything that he wants to do in stopping the questing. But if he had quested, that crab would have come in, would have taken out that Daisy, and then Smee would have just been there to challenge and then activate that crab once more, allowing even more favorable trades to come out in the future. So very good and patient play here from Alvin. We'll have to see what he does here on turn 3, but I'm really liking both of these players from both of these players. Very clean.
Definitely gonna have to make sure we get to those questing position when it's a little bit more free rather than if he has this, because we've seen that in even just this game, this couple of games alone, if you ever question if they have it, they will always have it. So like we just saw the crab here, and we've got into a Lawrence here, a lot of 2 lore gainers just waiting for that available spot so they can just survive a turn or 2.
Yeah, I mean, so it's really going to be up to Alvin to figure out a way to break this kind of parity in a sense here, right? It's going to come to a point where he's going to be able to get like 8 to 10 lore on a turn, so he's just going to do it anyways. But unless that happens here soon, I think Xenios is going to be able to run away with this game. I mean, we're already on turn 4. Alvin is still at 0 lore compared to the 12 that he was on turn 4. And so now he's going to return this Turbox Faller, likely ink it. There it is. And yeah, just continue to pass the turn, continue to just maintain parity and make it really difficult for Alvin to try and find an avenue into this game.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the deck list as well, the heavier top end stuff, if you had to compare, Xenios has just the better tools, better answers, better problems that Alvin might not be able to deal with. So I think you're definitely right here. If we wait the patient game, and if Alvin doesn't get the songs to remove these annoying 3/3s with like strength of raging fires and stuff like that, it's gonna stay around and kind of slow the game around. Xenios is gonna slow the game around and just start getting into those big bodies that Alvin might not be able to answer with what he is running in his deck.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself here. It's really just about Alvin trying to find the songs that he's looking for, and it looks like he's going to sing his first song here, likely as Strength.
That is the best song here. It's going to remove both of those options. I think. Both of those cards are just fine to get rid of. If I had to pick, I would personally get rid of that crab just because it can trade out with something and give that challenger 3 to something else to even cause more headaches. So, but if it's just a storm, then it's not the end of the world, but it's not the most optimal either. What we're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Storm still does get to draw you a card here, and it looks like you called it on the nose. It is that Storm of the Rage, or let the Storm.
Or are we
Rage
gonna
on.
Rapunzel it himself and just draw 3 in a very, very fun way?
This is also a really great option here. This is a very limited use of this kind of card, really only particular to this deck. But I would say this is definitely one of the best uses of it here. Just, turn your character sideways, draw 3 cards, and develop another 2 lore threat here. Obviously, a great option for him. It forces Xenulus to really make the trade with the Fox here into that Lawrence. So just kind of, in a way, breaks parity that he wouldn't otherwise be able to here, as well as allowing him to find more answers that he very clearly needs.
Right.
So going to start questing. I feel like at this point, if you're going to quest, you kind of just send it with everything here. It looks like he's going to decide to play it a little bit more precautiously than I myself would. I don't necessarily disagree with this line of here. There's very clearly something that he's playing around that I just not thinking of at the time. So it really is going to be back here onto Xenulus. I think what we want to see here is probably a Maui to kind of gain back that control over the board and just slow down Alvin that little bit much more.
Rob here.
What are you looking for here if you're Xenulus?
I'm a little upset that Daisy has seen too many just turns. I know he hasn't quested with it, but that Maui is exactly what you want to see. You want to because Alvin wanted to make sure he's establishing a board state where everything kind of gets traded out, so he's not losing the board advantage in the sense of how many bodies are on the board. So I think that's what he wanted to do, a little bit more cautious, because if Xenulus goes more advantage every single turn at a time, get the tempo advantage constantly, then it might just be too late because he has so many 4-3s, 3-3s, 5-6s, 4-4-3s, 3-4s, 4-4, just hard things that Alvin just cannot get rid of. So forcing the trades what he wanted to do, but Maui is just a huge headache. Keeping that Fox just in case that Daisy Duck ever turns sideways.
Right. So now
what we're going to see
is
Shen
Po here.
Oh my, that's
a card
a big
that kind of
body.
fell off the meta for a little bit, kind of made its way back, and now his strength going to come down and take out this Maui. And all of a sudden,
and now
that parity that I was talking about has been broken, and it's really going to be up to Xenulus to find a way back into this game. That said, he is going to be right here at 6 ink, so be prepared. Is not going to is going to be soon in this world, and so Xenulus does have that opportunity to get it back. He just has to have the answer, right?
Yeah, right. And this turn is kind of interesting. If he does have to be prepared, it's not something you want to invest on the board because everything's going to be gone, and you still want to kind of keep the lore gain to not be too much, but you can't really invest. Like, there's nothing you can do to get rid of it. So it's going to be an interesting situation. We can brawl something, maybe feel good about it, but it's definitely a situation where we're going to see exactly that, brawl into the Daisy optimally, just to get rid of it, and another brawl. And that's just, who needs to be prep when you got 2 brawls in this situation? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, all that lore pressure that Alvin was going to be able to create in that 5 lore in this following turn just no longer exists here. And it's going to be up to Alvin to try and rebuild his board state. Xenulus finding the perfect answer here on his ink turn 6. So we'll likely, see either a Lady Tremaine or Medusa on the following turns to just kind of thin that board that much more and just make it even more uncomfortable for Alvin in these coming turns.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna see excuse me, it's a Lil Jon, Robin's pal. I believe it's a 2/4 with Bodyguard.
Yep, and then it gains evasive on your turn.
Wow, I mean, it's a great little bird blocker, but in this situation, there's 2 bodyguards. They're protecting each other, and we're gonna go. And Xenulus is like, okay, you can quest one at a time. It's fine. I'm just gonna make sure I have enough answers. Get my ladies in reds, find some solutions to these annoying little problems, and we should be able to get into what we have here. Is another genie. So we're kind of in a situation where Xenulus feels okay with making his hand big, making sure he has options going into it, potentially a post beef prep world, potentially just kind of also getting ahead with more lore gaining cards. Like Genie himself. We're gonna ink that Sisu, and with We're just gonna go ahead and play that magic broom, kind of establish our own board. Be like, okay, well, you got so many little bodyguards. Well, I got more cool things. Like magic, the broom is gonna draw us a card, and everything's gonna feel fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that brawl turn really just completely changed the tides of this game here. It's going to force that Chen Po to just trade with the Fox here. Genie going to be able to quest for 2. Now, Rapunzel is going to come down here, which does feel great if you are Alvin. Just allows you to refill your hand, develops that 2 lore threat, as well as, just allows you to find more answers. And so, Xenulus, while he does have this Genie here, he does have this broom here to kind of find more cards, as well as develop a couple of lore threats. I feel like he's really starting to lose control of this game again with that Chen-Po Rapunzel line. I mean, that was just a beautiful response here from Alvin, and it's really going to be up to Xenulus to try and find these answers back. I would like to see a Medusa potentially onto that Rapunzel as one of your answers here. He does have a few cards in hand, but his hand state is dwindling.
We're just going to go ahead and quest probably to play another character into Genie to draw an extra card. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like the Rapunzel to draw 3, those 2 Rapunzel drew him exactly 5 cards, 6 if you count the Storm Rage on to make that Daisy to take the 2 damage. It shows exactly why Rapunzel is just still one of the best, if not the best card of Amber since the game's existence, and just enabling to find more answers for Amber Steel, putting extra body pressure into the board states, because he has a lot of cards in hand, a lot of options that Rapunzel just by herself offered here, and Xenulus is able to find more cards, which is fine. Like, it's not like last game where Alvin was at 20 lore by 2 turns ago, so it's not the end of the world that he's drawing a bunch of cards. Like when Xenulus finds his answers, those cards are really problematic, potentially, because it's going to remove a body and it's going to stick around because those ladies in reds are kind of annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he doesn't find those ladies in red that he was looking for, but he is able to develop a bunch of heavy lore threats, as well as a pseudo draw engine in that Merlin rabbit here. So, able to find himself 3 cards on that turn, just respond to that Rapunzel in kind, allows him to, develop a whole bunch of lore, or, characters on the board to threaten the board itself. And then, John Silver is able, or Little John, sorry, not John Silver. Little John is, with that evasive, able to answer the rest of that Genie with that Storm Rage on. And so now this board state starting to dwindle again. And this is just one of those push and pulls. It's like a very, very even game here. And it's just really uncomfortable for both of these players here, just trying to find, that actual footing in that game where you break that parity fully, and then the game is just yours. I really haven't seen that moment quite yet, but it's felt like that a few times this game. Both of these players have had the perfect answer and response.
Storm into wow, we have found a lot of these songs. We have done it all, kind of got rid of the board, but it would be definitely a shame if there was a specific song from a amazing franchise that involves a very beloved lion. But you're right, it's such a juxtaposition from the game 1 here. It's the exact opposite. It's like a little grimy just sling fest here. We got so many weird lines you have to make. You're not finding your answers, you're not looking into it. It's just a fascinating matchup, and a complete opposite of what we saw in game 1, constantly answering back and forth. Oh, you established a board state, I got mine too. And it's just been a very, very fantastic match to watch, in my opinion. But Xenulus needs to find an answer now before things get a little too crazy. We're just going to swing into it. Find a card, draw something, find something, for the love of God.
So now I'm curious whether or not Xenulus does actually have that be prepared there. Just because if he did, he would have just quested with the rabbit and then, sang the song. Or, well, I guess not sang it, but played it. Looks like he doesn't find it, and instead is just going to go for that Medusa, likely take out the Rapunzel here, and try and find a way to establish himself back into this game, because that turn was equally as devastating as that double brawl turn. And so now it just kind of feels like Alvin does have this lore lead here. He's got, I think, more cards in hand just off of those cards alone. And he's just going to quest for 3, continue to develop, this incredibly one-sided board state. And yeah, I mean, it's really going to be up to Xenius to find a way back into this game. While I did think he was favored early on, I will say Alvin is really eking ahead here.
I mean, we're kind of seeing why Ember Steel's kind of always had a little edge on the Ruby Amethyst matchup here. When we get into a John Silver, like you said, like but then now both Johns are on the board, and with so many bodyguards too, it's just such a headache to go through all of it. Like trading with the Champos, just not gonna feel fantastic. Little John is just an annoying little guy that's also evasive, so your genie got in trouble for it. And Avalon just been able to answer everything that Xenius was trying to establish, constantly trying to kind of keep up, but it might get to a point where it's just too little too late from Xenius. So he's going to go ahead and quest, and I think this is where we see I guess we're just going to fox it. I mean, we got to find answers. We have to just deal with things, and if we don't find B preps, we're just gonna make it work somehow. Put our shirt all the way up to our elbows and just get deep.
Yeah, I mean, we've already found out from the last turn that Xenius didn't have to be prepared. It was, the most ideal turn that you would have had last turn to do
Another
it.
one.
And so the fact that he just didn't, have it means he didn't have
But
it.
he's still answering. I mean, look at this. He got rid of the Champo. He got rid of the John Silver that just got played turn. So now it's just Lil John and Cinderella. And like looking at that board state, it doesn't look that bad. So like I said in the not too long ago, it's just been like a back and forth. Like you answer me, I answer you. You answer me, I answer you. And as the game goes into later stages, with the more ladies and reds, the more shenanigans analysts might be able to do, things might get a little rough, because now you enter the position where you can bounce this with Snake, play the Madame Medusa again, remove that beast. There's so many options that you've entered with the bounce package and these ladies in red that you can play at the same time back and forth. Or do one of my favorite things, which is shift Lady Tremaine into it and then bounce it back for 2 Lady Tremaines, which is also one of my favorite things I've seen.
That one is one of my favorite ones. The first time that ever happened to me, I was mind blown. And I was like, yo, that was crazy.
And then they just play it again, and it's just like, okay, now I lose. Awesome, sweet, yeah. So it's definitely a possibility. We enter the ink count where things are gonna happen. We have those options. We have our removal tools. We have things, but if you don't find it early, and it looks like Xenio's thinking through it to find something to deal with that beast, because if he draws 2 more cards, he's gonna have so many cards in hand. Even if a B prep is not gonna stop it for long. And there it is.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the situation here is just okay. So he does actually finally draw.
Be prepared.
As Baker would say, be prepared. I can't do it, but we try. We try and move on.
So now Alvin is going to have to find, a way to reestablish this board here.
Yeah.
Chifu, definitely not one of your favorite cards here in this later stages of the game. 0-5 is very easy to remove. Gets hit by those Madame Medusas, those brawls, as well as the Lady Tremaines fairly easily here. Not to mention that the Elsa 5th Spirit can damage him. And then just remove 2 lore off that Chifu, essentially. So we'll have to see how Xenius decides to respond in kind here. But 5 lore on the board for 6 ink and 2 cards is very threatening.
Very, very.
We'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if Xenius has more of these answers here. Obviously, drawing that Be Prepared a little late is a bit unfortunate here. We'll have to see if he finds the second one, because that would be the perfect answer, honestly. But yeah, I mean, this situation's looking worse and worse for Xenius as this game continues.
I think we're gonna go ahead and Elsa something. I mean, we have to stop this insanity that is a Chifu for 3. Now with that damage, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. We got a goat here to kind of make sure that if anything else like does get through, we can kind of trade out with the Lawrence, get rid of the Chifu. You can do a lot here. But the unfortunate thing, we find a third Rapunzel to draw 2 more cards. I mean, Rapunzel count is at 2, 3, 2. So that's 7 cards off Rapunzel's alone. And Rapunzel by herself is also very, very troublesome to deal with. And as the game kind of continues, those 2 extra draws are going to matter so much, because even if Xenius somehow finds the other B prep or has it, Alvin still has a lot in the gas to kind of continue put the pressure in, and this kind of is going to look like if he has it, it's great. If not, Xenius is in trouble, and I believe that is game over. And a dog, a Sven, and a Daisy Duck, and a Poglet. Oh boy, I mean, a B prep would have been cool. Oh, it's at the bottom of his deck. It's at the bottom of his deck, and B prep at the bottom of the deck is something that you never want to see if you're running 4 of that card. So it is very, very unfortunate to
Good games,
see.
man.
Unfortunately,
Glad I got to finally play you.
As we go into as we go into the fantastic interview, first of all, amazing games. Very, very unfortunate to see that B prep at the bottom of the deck. Very,
Literally last card in the deck. How about that?
It can't be any worse. But you gave it a shot. I mean, Ever Steel, Ruby Amethyst, it's been a battle of century at this point. We saw Amber Steel get the dub once again. But congratulations to both players here. But Sasuke, I wanna get the ball to you. Do you have any question for these amazing and extremely handsome players?
Yeah, I mean, so there was that turn prior where there was 4 characters on board, where you were sitting there just dwelling and thinking, in that moment, Xenulos. My assumption was that you just didn't have the be prepared in hand, and I mean, Alvin, I think, just recognized that and capitalized on that. I just want to confirm there was no be prepared on that turn, right?
Oh, which turn are you talking about?
He had 4 characters on board. I think 2 of them were 2 lore threats. I think one was a Rapunzel.
It's when you double brawled, I believe.
Oh yeah, no. When I double brought, I did not have be prepared.
You were just like, all right, we just gotta get rid of it, which was halfway there. I mean, you constantly try to get all the answers. We saw so many back and forth in the second game. The first game we just blinked and the game was over. Unfortunately, First of all, what were your reactions when you saw Chifu come twice in that first game? I need to know because I was shook.
No, I saw Chifu and Triple Daisy, and I was like, well, that was a fun game. We can just go next. I also just had be prepared and 2 uninkables in my opening hand, and just wasn't able to play the game for 5 turns. It happens, but him recognizing that and just going wide and just cool, I'm gonna count the 20. I mean, he had all not only did he have it, he played it well. So good on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And
You played it good as well, Xenulos.
Seeing it,
played it fantastic, my dude.
It was like a B prep and 2 Lady Tremaines and a Maui to end the game too. It was just nothing you could do. It was really unfortunate. But shifting into that Chifu action, Alvin, again bringing the sauce. I want to kind of break down the decisions we got here. I mean, game 1 we saw exactly what you want to see if you're playing that early. We're gonna go fast, quick. How did we get here? How did these amazing Lil Jon's, Chifu's, all the extra sauce? How did we get here, man? Break it down for me,
bro. I love my sauce, man. I love my sauce. So I always look at just random cards from different sets. I always go through my bulk, and every time I see Chifu, I'm like, man, this seems good, but you could just ping it and that's it. He's not doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But then, there's a card named Rapunzel, which heals. So on curve, she comes in pretty clutch too. So if they do end up pinging her for 2 on a storm, just healing it and getting my wife is healing it. Just healing it and getting the pluses off of that. Plus, questing kind of like in that last game towards the end. I think it was a great play to exert the Chifu challenge into it with the Elsa, so I don't get my 3 lore. But of course, we always, for some reason, somehow, we always have Rapunzel there to give us some draws, and I love it, man. I mostly use them for, believe it or not, I mostly use them for Rapunzel value. Because it's a 0/5.
Right.
Fox exerted, you challenge into the Fox. Lawrence exerted, you challenge into the Lawrence, and you get a bunch of draws. So you can go either way. If I'm going second, I usually use him for that. If I'm going first, he's usually questing. But yeah, he's the sauciest guy in this deck. besides the Lil Jon. Okay.
that bodyguard evasive. What a sauce.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for you. I mean, not particularly about Little John, but more specifically about the Sven Reindeer Steed. What is he supposed to be doing on the list? Is he just allowing you to quest safely, or what was the thought process behind Sven Reindeer Steed?
Oh, I threw the Sven in there. Well, I do have a lot of protectors on 4 and 5. I don't have a Pluto, which is the protector on 4. I do have a Champoi, comes out on 5. But I do like the reindeer. I do like Sven coming down on 4 to ready either, any character that quests, even the Chifu, if he quests, you can ready him to protect them. Also, Sven can ready so they can sing, and Sven quests for 2. So he hits a lot of different things there.
Okay.
Wow. In the on the and the kind of the opposite of the extra spice, extra sauce. Xenius, you went back to the OGs. You went back to just the classics, like the deck was named. You said 7. It doesn't exist. The newest thing I got is a genie. What made you go back to the old school, bounce things around, ladies in red, ruby amethyst?
I mean, I've been playing a lot of new things since the ban just to try things out.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, Ruby Amethyst has just felt good. The curves when you get the cards you want tend to be pretty fun. And I don't know, dude. Just going back to the good old classics, the things that I really started playing Lorcana on Ruby Amethyst. Up until probably set 5. This was the deck I played the most. So just thought I'd give it a shot and see how it went.
Unfortunately, the uninkables at game 1 and just not finding answers on game 2 was just not in your favor. The deck said you betrayed us for a little too long. Maybe it's time to go back.
As old no I'm not used to say, the deck is 40% into everything. So occasionally you can just watch your opponent count to 20, and it happens.
It happens, but you again, fantastic showing from both amazing players. Sasuke, do you have any extra questions for these amazingly amazing, handsome, super awesome players?
Yeah, you guys got any shout outs you want to give?
Go ahead, brother. You can go first.
Oh, how gracious. Obviously shout out Maelstrom. We've been just doing our best to keep things going since the ban, just trying to see what the new meta is going to look like and adapt more or less. And also shout out to Heavy Play. They gave us some cool products to play with. I was using their sleeves tonight. At the moment, I like them quite a bit. And then just along with that, just a cool dice box and deck box. I think Bannable showed off the magnetic part of it, but I can do it again just because it's very aesthetically pleasing and it's a nice little fidget toy.
Wait. Show them how you can like put the thing on top. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like
with
the dice. Yeah, and then it just
just, with your deck box, you can just put it on top and just magnetize it.
Oh, I think it's so cool. And you can like pick up the whole deck box from the top too. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I was pretty surprised at how strong the magnets are, and I enjoyed it a lot. So
that's spicy, and we gotta kind of show that little poker chip that you've been kind of tinkering with.
Oh yes, we do have new poker chips that have been made.
Oh, the old glorious.
Yeah. So my favorite little fidget toy has come back.
Amazing.
Right, Alvin?
Mr. Lorgan.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife for always supporting me. She's my number one. All of you guys for organizing this event. You guys are putting in so much work. And to my opponent, Xenius, thank you, man. That was an awesome game. I'm really stoked I got to play against you. I'm a big fan. And all the viewers, thanks guys for checking out the games today. I hope you enjoyed the show. And my team, let's go team. My select few team. We got the dub, guys. I did it. But yeah, thank you guys.
Oh, fantastic, and thank you for showing up, rocking the show, ending it on a fantastic note. So thank you both, gentlemen, for rocking out with us and having a blast. We really appreciate it here in the ICL.
Thanks for having us, man. It was a great time, as always.
As always, and as the show wraps up, I mean, we saw it all. We saw 2 Mufasas in one event. First of all, let's not show it. Let's not sell that short. Mufasa is a fan favorite from the start. It's always been, so seeing it twice, fantastic stuff. Kind of take it away. We saw the evil Burb absolutely just be evil and see why He's a threat. He's a demon, like the name that he has. But what are some takeaways from the tonight's show as we wrap up this beautiful Wednesday night at the ICL Showdown?
Yeah. So for me, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was actually game one. It was a really, really good series. But you know, I think really all of these players got to play, just like show off a lot of their incredible skills. I mean, you know, obviously both you and I stated that we were favoring Xenulus for the series, but Alvin obviously going ahead and taking it. I just want to say that I did predict it here in the pre-show. In the post-show, I believe we're going to be rating Katie at the Lorekeepers.
Oh yeah, game show as an undefeated Scorekeepers win participant, as the member one half of Team JDZ, you have to show up because my title will be on the line eventually as the most undefeated, most successful, the greatest, some say, because there's only been one episode, Scorekeepers win player of all time. You have to check it out. It's one of the most fun you'll have. And I'm saying this super biased because I was a part of it and I watched it and it was just amazing stuff. And if you like the Lorcana shenanigans, Katie is the queen of all shenanigans, the Poglet creator, all of that jazz. So as the show is wrapping up, we're gonna bring that party over there, and she's gonna rock that party moving forward. It's gonna be a blast. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. I can't recommend it more. And Sasuke, I think this is our time to pull the curtains down. What are you up to? So give us those shout outs, my friend.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I stream on Twitch, on Sasuke TV. I got a YouTube channel, Sasuke TV. Really just been super interested in casting in general. So just trying to get more involved with that. Did a couple of casts with 20 Lord Pro, and obviously joining you guys here has been an absolute pleasure. What about you? You know, where can everyone find you, Breezy?
Twitch.tv/YBreezy. I am live every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 through 11, in a little dumb, stupid show called Lorcana After Dark. You can see me tomorrow with the dog master himself, SSG Ghosty, where we're going to be barking all day, all night, and talk about where Churn of Dogs is in post Hiram, where we used to eat from Sapphire. So find me at twitch.tv/YBreezy as we go into the Scorekeepers win with Katie, the Lorekeepers in. Bye-bye.
I assume we're good to go.